All right, so we're going to start. My name is Michelle Early, and I am the owner and an instructor with Magnolia School of Real Estate. So today you came to study for the state exam, and we're going to get right into the 5 most asked math questions. So I did email you, if you're watching this presentation, I did email you, if you're watching this live, I did email you a copy of the questions that we're going to cover today, just so that you would have this document. And let me go ahead and just mute everybody for now. Please feel free if you have something that you want to say to, to unmute yourself. A moment, let me do that. Where's that? It's not popping up. Come on, baby, where are you?
The first one on the phone. How did I'm on my Zoom.
Okay. All right, so everyone is muted. So let's go ahead and start. So again, I did email you the questions that we're going to cover today. And so that's going to be 5 topics. And the topics that we're covering is going to be street paving question, a discount point question, a commission question, the bins and the lots. So listen to this because this is pretty cool. Right now, as of this video being shot in 2022, the state exam is harder than it's ever been. And it was already hard. So it's harder than in the last almost 6 years that I've been following it, because the pass rate is the lowest it's ever been, plus more people are taking it that's ever taken it. So if you put those 2 factors together mathematically, they've made this test harder. And so speaking of mathematically, when they make a test harder, that's what they do, is they add more math. So that's why this is such an important thing to study the math. Normally I tell people, oh, you're only going to have 5 or 6, don't worry about the math. Well, you're not going to have 5 or 6 now. You're probably going to have 10 or even 11. So anywhere between 5 and 13 math questions. So the street paving question we're going to start with is almost 100% on every single test, because there's a little trick to it and people don't know. So we're going to do that. Discount points. Discount points is just a really hard topic until you understand it. And then you're like, oh, that's the easiest one ever. Almost 100% on every single test. And then you've got a commission. This is what's so exciting. There are 3 commission questions almost on every single test. So right there alone, that's 4 questions on your state exam: commission, street paving, discount points. The next 2, I just call them the bins or the lots. In my experience, every single person gets either the bins or the lots. So it's a 50-50. So we have to cover both because we don't know which one you're going to get. So in reality, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're covering 6 of your 10 or 11 math questions, meaning right now we're going to cover the bulk of the math. So what I would recommend is lock down these points and then a couple more that we'll talk about later, and just forget the math, move on to the other 90% of your test. Because you know that chapter 11, 12, and 13, which are mortgages and contracts, which are the 2 topics that they take the most points from, those 3 chapters have 25 points. So we want to lock down some easy math, pick up the points. A couple of them we let go because it's all a numbers game. So let's start street paving. So I have the question in the chat. Just going to read it to you if you want to go and check your chat so you can see it yourself, or if you've printed the copy that I've sent you. The city is repaving the streets in the neighborhood. The city will assume 30% of the expense. The city has approved a bid to pave the streets at a cost of $40 per lineal foot. And how much is the special assessment for a lot that measures 80 by 125? So let me show you what's going on in this question. So here's your house, here's your lot, and here's your street. So you are going to be paving this street here. And it says that your lot is 80 by 125. Now, what you can know is that the first number is always the street side. And the second number is always the length of your side yard all the way to your backyard. So we don't need that figure at all because we're not paving this. We're only paving this. So what we do is, the first thing I do is I find out how many feet I'm paving. So I'm—
Hey, Michelle.
Yes.
Sorry, but I don't have a visual of you anymore. Does anyone else?
I did.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I have a visual of her. You might want to have to log off and log back on.
This is my first time on Zoom. Can anybody hear me?
Zoom is amazing and it's all at the same time.
Yeah, just log off and then log back on, because when it's something on your end when you can't see her.
Good advice. Thank you for telling that. Good advice. Try that, and just keep in mind, I am recording it, so I'm just gonna send this to everyone after, probably when I get home this evening. I'll sit down and just send it to everyone. So if you don't have it, or you have to leave, you know, or if you're just not even in the mood, so I'll record it, and it is recording, and I'll send it to you. So let's go ahead and keep going. That was great advice. Go ahead and mute yourselves. Just so it's, and if you, of course, you have something to say, please unmute yourself. So we want to make it as participative and just really casual as possible. I almost combed my hair. It almost happened. So 80 feet is what we are paving. And the next thing I figure out is how much does it cost per foot? So when it says linear foot, that just means one in front of the next. And so this one tells us that it costs $40 per foot. So that's what I do next. I put in how much does it cost to pave each foot. So that means that it is $3,200. Is that right? 8 and 8, 16. Yeah, $3,200 to pave the whole street. But the good news for this owner, the good news is that they only have to pay a certain amount of this out of 100%. So if you look at it, it tells you that the city is going to pay 30% of this. So what I could do is I could times this by 30% and then minus that figure from that to find out how much I have to pay. But what I do is I make it a step, I take a step away, because what I'm really trying to figure out is, of this $3,200, how much do I, the person living here, have to pay? And the answer is I only have to pay 70% of this. So that's what I do. I times it by 0.7. So I put in my calculator 3,200 times 0.7. So I only have to pay 2,200. See if you can still see me. Yeah, 2,000. Is it 2,200? 2,240. This is all I have to pay, which is 70% of this. Now, again, you can take 30% of this and minus it, you're going to get the same figure. And this is what most people put on the state exam. And that's why the state exam loves this question, because they take points even from you math people that are really good at math. You figure that out, no problem. But you see, what's interesting about this is you, the person who lives here, you only have to pay half of your street. Whoever lives here pays for this. And if nobody lives here, the city owns it and they pay for it. So every time you get here, you divide it by 2. Always divide by 2. And that takes you to 1120. I love this question because people take the test and they say, oh, dear God, they took a point from me, because it doesn't tell you to divide by 2. So listen to it one more time. How many feet I'm paving? How much does it cost per foot? So now you have this figure. This is how much it costs to pave the whole street. How much of it do you, or this person, how much do they have to pay? They have to pay 70% because the city is paying 30%. And then we cut that in half. So now let you do one yourself. It will be number 2 on that same one if you printed it. And if not, give me 1 second and I'll put it in the chat. I'm going to go. You cannot minimize Zoom when you're recording this meeting. Oh, I cannot minimize Zoom when I'm recording the meeting. So I will type it in the chat. Okay. It's just going to take a moment longer. No worries. I'll make it smaller. City is paying .
Are you looking for us to give you an answer when we work out the problem, or just work out the problem and wait for you to give us the answer?
Since we have so many people, probably work it out and wait, and we'll see if we all get it at one time.
Okay.
Did you see it? I put it in chat, kind of minimize what it says.
Yeah, I got mine's printed.
Good. Oh, you have it printed. Okay. The cat is just not user friendly. Like I wish it was just a bigger. Yeah, see, this is why I'm not putting it on YouTube, because even though I'm slightly technologically okay, it still comes off like I just am completely lost. Hopefully you can see it. Can everybody see it in the chat? Because I can't even find it. I put it in there now.
Yeah, it's on the chat. It's just a small portion.
I just wish it would go to the bottom so I could see it.
Yeah, you basically put all the specifics that you need. It's the
Okay.
same as the first question, right? Just got to do different numbers.
Exactly. All right, so let me give you a minute to do it. Horrible audio. I'm sorry, it's horrible audio. Some people have good audio, some people have horrible. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're gonna do it together. We're gonna do it together. The city is repaving the streets in a neighborhood, and the city will assume 20% of the expense. The city has approved a bid to pave the streets at $30 per lineal foot. How much is the special assessment for a lot measuring 80 by 125? So again, the very first thing that I do is I find out how many feet I'm paving. And how many feet I'm paving is 80. And then I find out how much it costs per foot, and that's $30. So I put it in my calculator. Make sure you have a good calculator for the state exam, because you don't want like one of those little tiny ones that's going to break, or one of those dollar store ones. You know, get something nice, not too fancy, because they won't let you take anything in fancy. But so 80 times $30. So $2,400. And then once you have that figure, $2,400, the next thing that you want to do is figure out that we don't have to pay this whole amount. Out of 100%, how much of this do we have to pay? And the answer is we only have to pay 80% of this. I know you don't need the zero, but I always put it in. So we have to pay only $19.20, and we have even better news. We only have to pay half of that.
Michelle, why do you only have to pay half of that?
When you're looking at a street assessment and you're talking about paving your street, the city always says, yes, we're going to charge you to pave your street. But if you look at your street out your front door, you have two sides. So you actually only have to pave your half of the street, the part that touches your half, and your neighbor that lives across the street paves their half, or pays for the paving of their half. Meaning that every time you do this problem, the very last thing you do is divide by 2, because you will only pay half of the total amount required to be paid, even after the city gets their part that they pay. It's one of those really tricky questions, because it doesn't say it in the question, and you just have to know it. And it's just one of those tricky things. It is in the textbook. Actually, I think it's on page 416 if you have the 45th edition of Linda Crawford. But definitely what I would say is, this is what we say when this is the class in Sarasota where I give class. And this is what I always say. Okay, we have a street paving question. Remember, don't forget to, and then everyone says divide by 2. Because at the end of the day, once you come up with the actual figure that it costs by finding out how many feet, how much per foot, how much of that you actually have to pay, we always divide it by 2. And so this one would be 960. This one would be 960. So I know that was a longer answer than you wanted, but because your neighbor's paying the other half is the short answer. So
Sorry.
Yeah.
I checked on 416. It is there towards the bottom.
Is it?
Yeah,
I don't
didn't
know.
get up to that chapter yet, but yeah.
I got to get out more knowing those page numbers. I got to get out more. Okay, I'm a little bit obsessed.
Hi, how did we get 80?
Say it
up
again.
there? how did you get that 80 number, the number 80 that we divided by
Oh,
30?
yeah, so you could do this, you could take 2,400 and times it by 20%, because what you're trying to figure out is how much money this person has to actually pay, because the city's gonna help, and the city's gonna pay 20%. So I could times it by 20, and then just minus this figure from this, which would give me 80%. I just skip a step, and I just multiply this by how much I have to pay. So let me put it in different words.
Okay, I think I get it. So since the city is paying 20%, we are paying 80.
Exactly. What I do when I see this question in my brain and I know I'm taking a test, I picture myself as the homeowner, and I go through this very logically. As the homeowner, I have 80 feet that cost $30 a foot to pave. That's the total. As a homeowner, I don't have to pay 100% of that, because the city's going to pay 20. I have to pay 80% of that. And then I get to cut that in half, because my neighbor's going to pay their half. So I kind of put it through my eyes. I used to times this by 20 and then minus it. And so many students kept yelling at me, you need to skip a step, skip a step. I don't like to skip steps.
Okay.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
okay. So
I
we
have a
won't do that
question.
third one. You can do that one on your own.
I have a
Because-
question.
yeah.
I did it a different way. I just went 3,200 times 30%, and I got 960. Because I multiply $40 times 80. If I'm
Oh,
doing
on the
that.
one before?
The second question on the email.
The second question is 20% and 80 and $30.
$30. Oh, okay. I don't know how I got the same answer.
Hey, I always tell students this. If you're doing the math and a different way than I do it, and you're getting the right answer, that is the only way to do it. Because that's what the beauty of math is that there's so many different ways to do it. I've seen this question done 2 or 3 different ways. For me,
Right.
I keep it all one way. But if, again, I know I said it, but if you find a different way and you get the right answer, oh man, do it that way, because that is the way to do it. Because everybody does
ask
math
you.
different.
They confuse you because they add up extra things. We only
Oh, yeah.
80%, the 125 is irrelevant.
Oh, yeah. And the funny part is most questions add so much irrelevant stuff.
Right.
This one, not
Confuse
only,
you.
it does. And not only, most of the time, it's just adding extra stuff. This one not only adds stuff, it doesn't tell you to divide by 2. So at the end of the
Right.
day, this one's the worst one of all, because it's adding extra stuff and not even giving you the full information.
Yeah, because I was doing it. I was like, how the heck did you get to that answer? Because you got the answers here. I go, how the heck you got? I didn't know about the divide 2. I didn't remember because I took the
Nobody
course in
does,
July.
because it's one little sentence in the book, and that's what this state exam preys on, because they say, oh, you're good at math, watch this. I mean, if you didn't know. Okay, so let's do discount points. Discount points are next. So what I would recommend right now, and it's so weird talking in this room by myself, I should bring students in because I would feel more comfortable, like if I could see people, but listen to this, because discount points are basically 100% on the state exam.
Yeah.
What I would recommend right now is put down your pen, put down your pencil, sit back, and let me explain to you this whole way that discount points work, because I have to tell you a whole bunch of stuff that you don't really need to know, because it's taking us to where we need to be. And this is without a doubt, basically 100%. I've not ever talked to anybody that didn't have a discount point question, because if you don't understand them, they're really tricky. So let's do it. Let me explain how it works. I wouldn't write any of this down. And then at the very end, I'll say it and say, oh, that makes sense. Okay, so listen to discount points. Discount points are an upfront charge by the lender to increase their yield. So listen to that again. Discount points are an upfront charge by the lender to increase their yield. So you would say, well, hold on, it's a discount. How does it increase the lender's yield? Because if I told you it increases the lender's yield, I might as well be saying it increases the lender's profit. I know it's not the exact same thing, but at the end of the day, it is, because if you're increasing what they make, that increases their profit. And you say, well, that doesn't make sense. Why is it called a discount point? Banks are smart. They're not going to call it a rip-off point. I mean, they're going to call it a discount point so that sounds something interesting to you. And sometimes it is a discount. It's just not always. So we're going to talk about that. But let me show you how it works. And I wouldn't write any of this down because this is going to take us to where we need to be. Imagine that someone went into the bank. Imagine it was me, and I went into the bank and I said, can I please borrow, let's say, $400,000? Okay. And the bank says, yes, you can borrow $400,000, and we're going to give it to you at a rate of 5%, let's say. 5%. Well, I would say that's really high. Is there anything we can do to lower that? And the bank is going to say, well, sure. The lender or the mortgage broker, they're going to say, sure, you can buy discount points. And I say, well, that sounds pretty good. Explain discount points to me. I like the sound of that. And they say, well, for every point you buy, Michelle, it costs 1% of the loan. So if I bought one discount point, it would cost me $4,000 today up front. If I bought 2 discount points, it would cost me $8,000 today up front, and so on and so forth. So let's pretend that I want to buy 4 points. So you're not going to see this on the state exam, so don't write it down. But again, it's taking us to where we want to be. Let's pretend I'm buying 4 points. So I'm going to pay for 4 discount points. It's going to cost me $16,000 today. So you see how it increases the bank's yield or their profit or how much money they make. They no longer are charging me $400,000 at 5% interest. They're making $16,000 today. So the question becomes, what I would say, getting too excited, calm down. What I would say is, if I pay you $16,000, what is that going to do to my rate? Because that's what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to buy it down. And the answer is, for every point I buy, the rate is going to be lowered 1/8%. So watch this. Again, you don't need to know this. It's going to take us there. If I bought 1 point, it will reduce this 1/8%. If I bought 2 points, it would reduce this 2/8%. And we can reduce 2/8 and say that 2 goes into 2 1 time and 2 goes into 8 4 times. So if I bought 2 points, it would reduce this 1/4. So now I would be at 4 3/4, right? Still, none of this is on the state exam. Because listen to this. The state exam does not care what it does to your rate, or in this case, to my rate. The state exam doesn't care what it does to my rate. Because remember what a discount point is. It increases the lender's yield. What the bank cares about is, or excuse me, the state exam, what the state exam cares about is, how much does it increase their yield? And the answer is, whatever it decreased your yield, it increases their yield. So let me show you what I mean. If you had a 5% loan and you bought 4 points, you have increased their yield by 4/8%, which is 1/2. So the answer would be 5.5. But hold on, because I want to take it a lot slower than that and really show you what it means. When you pay the bank $16,000, let's say, to buy discount points, what you're essentially doing is you're paying interest in advance. And mathematically, they say it takes about 8 years for you to catch up to that $16,000. Or if you only bought 1 point, $4,000, it doesn't matter. It takes about 8 years. So the question you would say is, well, should I buy discount points? Well, if you know you're going to stay in the house for more than 8 years, yes, because that prepaid interest eventually is going to make sense. But if you're going to stay in the house more than 8 years, no. But still, none of that is on the state exam. Here's what's on the state exam. First off, let me show you one thing. If you bought 1 point, you would increase the lender's yield by 1/8%. If you bought 2 points, 2/8. 4 points, 4/8. 6 points, 6/8, and 8 points, 8/8. So if you bought 2 points, you would increase the lender's yield by 1/4% because you've given them money today. If you bought 4 points, you would increase their yield by 1/2. And if you bought 3 points, you would increase their yield by 3/4%. If you bought 8 points, you would increase their yield by an entire percent. Now, therefore, you would also be decreasing your yield, but the state exam doesn't want to know that. You gave the bank money today. How much did you increase their yield? So 2 quick questions are on the state exam, and then I'll show you what's on basically every state exam. First question, first question, how much does, this is a question that I had similar, I would never tell you exact because I don't want to get in trouble, but this is a similar question to what I had on my state exam. How much would 1 point increase the lender's yield? And you say, oh, 1 point, it increases their yield 1/8. The next question, how many points how much would 2 points increase their yield? Oh, 1/4, 4 points, and so on and so forth. Because 1 point increases their yield 1/8. 2 points, 2/8. Now, in my experience, you're not going to have a question with 3, 5, and 7. In my experience, it doesn't mean it's not out there. It just means out of 5, 6, 8, 10,000 people that I've talked to, they haven't seen it. So I would probably concentrate, on these. But let me show you what the question is going to look like. This is what it's going to look like in my experience, and not exact. But this is what will cover you for what you need. It's going to say to you this. If you bought, or if you had a 6% interest rate, and you bought 4 points, what is the new effective yield to the lender? And here's how you do it. Every time you see those words, you say, oh, wait, effective yield to the lender. Okay, 1 point is 1/8, 2 points is 2/8, 4 points is how much? 4/8. So how much did you increase their yield? 1/2. You always put it over 8, reduce it, and add it. So let me show you another one. If you had a 5% interest rate and you bought, let's say, 6 points, what is the new effective yield to the lender? So you say, oh, wait, effective yield to the lender, put the points over 8, reduce, add. Every time. Every
I
time.
have
It'll give
another
you.
way of doing the math.
What?
I have another way of doing the math that's easy.
Do it that way if it works for you. For today, I'm just going to show one way, same as I do in class.
Well, if they remember each point is
No,
one.
not for today. You
Oh,
keep
okay.
your way, because today we just do it one way. But like I said, truly, if you're using decimals, you absolutely can do it that way.
Yeah.
I only teach it one way, just to say, if somebody doesn't know, they say, just show me this way. If you have another way, which there are other ways, totally do it your way. Yeah.
You multiply.
Can
it
we
by-
on mute, please?
Yeah.
Can everybody mute, please?
So definitely, like we said, if you have something, definitely pop it in. But if it's another way to do it, oh my gosh, do your way, because there's so many ways. So many ways. Let me just go here. I think everybody's okay. Yes, I'm gonna keep it. So if you want to unmute, definitely do. Okay, so let me give you another one. See if you can get it, okay? If you had a 4% interest rate and you bought, let's say, 4 points, and you don't have to answer out loud, you can just see if you can get it. If you had a 4% interest rate and you bought 4 points, what is the new effective yield to the lender? Take your time, don't answer out loud, but see if you can get it. You have a 4% loan and you bought 4 points. What is the new effective yield to the lender? You say, well, 1 point is 1/8, 2 points is 2/8, 4 points is 4/8. Reduce it to half, and the answer is 4.5%. So go ahead and look on the paper that I sent you, and I'll put it in the chat as well. But do number 1. Or not, is it, I have it like A, B, C, D, but see where it says discount points? And then it
How do I
says,
get the paper?
I emailed it. If you don't have it, no worries. I'm gonna put it in the chat, but check your email.
I didn't receive it in email.
I sent it about, probably like an hour and a half ago, but no worries, because I'm gonna put it in the chat. And I'll email that again when I send the recording tonight,
Okay,
the
thank
link.
you.
Or you know what?
Hello,
Sam?
Michelle.
Yeah.
Hello, Michelle. I wanted to let you know that the video you sent for the last meeting, I never was able to access it.
So all of those are on YouTube. Everything that I've the last I've done 2, and they're all on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're all on YouTube. Let me just. So unless
Can
you're
everybody
talking
mute,
right
can
now,
everybody mute their phone? Please mute your
I
phone.
got it. I'll take care of it. If everybody's not talking, just mute. You know, until then. But of course, then unmute. So let me put this in the chat. Oh, I love discount points because once you figure it out, you're like, boom, got it. Okay, let me put it in.
Michelle,
Yes.
I think I understand how to do the question and the answer, but in my mind, I'm having a hard time with why would we be paying to increase the lender's yield?
Because it does decrease, it's a great question. It does decrease our yield as well, simultaneously of increasing theirs because we gave them more money. And what you're doing when you increase their yield is you're paying upfront interest. And mathematically, after 8 years, when you make that that next payment on the end, it's like the beginning of the 9th year. Now you would say, haha, I got you, bank, because all that interest I paid up front has now caught up. And now, because your interest rate's been reduced since your first payment, but because you gave them a handful of money, it also increased what they made then. But now that the future is here, you can say, yes, I know I paid a bunch of money, but I reduced my rate by paying upfront interest. And now in the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th year, it is a discount point because you did lower your rate. See, it's all upfront interest is what you're paying.
Okay, so the second part of my question is, I know you talked about schools teach different things and that's a problem sometimes for people. In my school, I was going over a practice test and it brought up high down points and a 0.25%. And I got so confused. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. So if you had a question that said, and we were going to talk about that in just a moment because they flip it. If I said to you, how many, and we'll let everybody work on that while I put it in the chat, a buyer obtains a mortgage, has 4% and buys 4 points, what's the yield? So, but if I put if I said to you, you increase the lender's yield 0.25 point, how many points did you buy? Well, let's look. 1 point wouldn't do it. Let's see. You bought 2 points. Because you see, this 2/8 is also 1/4. You bought 2 points. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm not going to take your time up. It talked about 1 point, being 1%, but then it said that was equal to buying down your rate. You got a 25% discount in your, or lower, your rate was lowered, I guess, by 0.25%. So I got confused between
it's really confusing. And that's new. That question that you're talking about is only in the last few months because they even had to complicate something as complicated as discount points just to keep the test this hard. So watch this. And everybody keep working on it, but watch this.
Is the difference, it's 1/8 the lender's yield, and then if it's a buy down, it's a 1/4? Is that?
No. Let me show it to you. So watch. Let's do that question first. If you bought 1 point, it increases the lender's yield by 1/8 and decreases your yield by 1/8. If you bought 2 points, it increases the lender's yield 2/8, which is a 1/4, and it decreases your yield 1/4 as well. But you see, because you've given them upfront money to do that, and that's why I showed you how it works. You pay for these discount points. Because you paid for this discount point, it does decrease your yield today because your rate immediately goes down 1/4 point. But because you paid them today to do it, it takes 8 years to catch up because you're prepaying interest. If you paid,
is the yield the same as like mortgage kind of thing?
The yield is, this is not completely correct, but this will get you there. The yield is what the bank makes.
Oh.
The yield is what the bank makes. So watch this. Let me show you some more stuff, because at the end of the day, let me show you this. If you had a 5% interest rate, and you bought 4 points, what is the new effective yield to the lender? So that's what most people are going to see, a question similar to that, different numbers. So if I said to you, you had a 5% loan and you bought 4 points, you would say, oh, 4 points. 1 point increases the yield 1/8. It decreases your yield too, but they won't ask you that. 2 points, 4 points, 6 points, 8 points. So if 4 points is what you bought, how much did you increase their yield? 4/8, right? Which is 1/2.
5.5.
So we added. Now, watch this, because this is what they're asking now. Which you'll see this, but some people are going to see this. If you had a 5% interest rate and you increased the bank's yield by 0.5%, how many points did you buy?
4.
You got it. Because how do you get to 1/2 by using 8s? Well, 1 won't do it. 2 won't do it. Oh, 4 did it. 4 got me there. So that's the question that whoever that was that said that, you're so right. They're asking that. They're asking this. How could you decrease, and that, let's use your question. How could a buyer decrease, which is funny because they never asked that, and you said that you're seeing that. How could a buyer decrease their interest rate by 1/4? Well, if you decrease your interest rate by 1/4, that means they have raised their interest rate by 1/4 because you paid them to do it. So the math is the same. If I was asked a question, how many points did I buy? If I increased their yield by 1/4 or decreased my yield by 1/4, I would figure out how many 8s it took to get to 1/4. 1 point won't do it. 2 points. Ah, there it is. The answer is 2. It takes.
So all
2
we're
points.
doing is putting whatever number they're saying for points over 8, and that's the end of it. For
Once you reduce it and add it.
For the purposes of passing the state exam, that's it.
You got it. And that's
Okay.
why I love discount points, because once you see how to do it, it's easy. Same as don't forget to divide by 2. So if
I was feeling very comfortable about this whole concept, and I wish I'd written down the question, because then it would make more sense to me right now, but I didn't. But what I wrote, the note I wrote was 1/8 discount points increases the lender's yield by 1/8. Buy down points reduce your interest rate by 1/4.
No.
That's
It's
wrong.
the same. That's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. The number is the same. They increase and decrease by the same number. Yep, 100%. They increase and decrease by the same number.
I think I'm overthinking it.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what you're going to see. Let me give you guys 4 questions that are going to cover your entire discount point. In my experience, your entire discount point question on the state exam. So don't answer out loud, but see if you can get these 4 points, okay?
Okay, gotcha.
If you had a 5% interest rate, so don't say it out loud, but if you had a 5% interest rate and you bought 6 points, what is the new effective yield to the lender? So don't say it out loud, but I'm going to say it all again. If you have a 5% interest rate and you buy 6 points, what is the new effective yield to the lender? So take your time. Whew. Good day for the air to break.
Michelle, I have a question once
Yeah.
everybody answered.
Yeah.
Like this 3/4, is this equivalent to the 0.75 too?
It is.
Is that right?
Yeah, so
So
let's
it's like a quarter, like it's like a pie.
yeah, exactly. So let's look at this, and then I'm going to show you that. So you're all right that are
Okay.
putting it in the chat. So if you had a 5% interest rate and you bought 6 points, how many, what is the new effective yield to the lender? So we know to put the points over 8, like the gentleman said, he's exactly right. Men are just,
Right.
man, they simplify it, don't they? I love it. So 6/8 becomes 3/4. And 3/4 is added to this. Now, let me show you something kind of cool. So that's the answer. If you got it, you're exactly right, and you're set. Because that's what you're gonna see, unless, let me show you the others. But watch this. If you got 1 point, it would increase the effective yield to the lender 1/8. It would also decrease your yield 1/8. If you got 2 points, it would increase the lender's yield 2/8 or 1/4 or 1/4. And see how it's literally a quarter? If you had a quarter in your hand, it's 25 cents. If you got 4 points, you increase the lender's yield 1/2, which is 50 cents, half of a dollar. It's always of a dollar. It's always of 1. If you got
So it's like a
6
pie.
points, you increased the lender's yield and decreased yours, if you want to say it that way. 0.75, 3/4. If you have 3/4 in your hand, it's 75 cents. And if you bought 8 points, you increase their yield by an entire percent. So listen to this new question. Everybody's been telling it to me in the last, I just had a class ended on Tuesday. I think we've had 5 people take the test so far. And this is what they told me. Now, not exact because we don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble, but just enough to keep this legal to where we're just learning. Here's a question that a lot of people are seeing right now. Similar. How many, oh, it's a good one. How many points, and don't say it out loud, let everybody think. How many points would a borrower have to borrow or buy? How many points would a borrower have to buy to increase the lender's yield 1%? So listen to it again. How many points would a borrower have to buy to increase the lender's yield 1%? Oh, you're putting it in the chat. You guys are
8.
smart. And so the answer is 8.
8.
Yeah, because let's look why it's 8. Let's look why. If you bought 1 point, would it increase their yield a whole percent? Nope. If you bought 2 points, would it? No. What about 4 points? Nope. What about 6 points? Nope. What about 8? Oh yeah, that would do it. Because if you had a piece of pizza and a whole pizza and it had 8 pieces and you had all 8 pieces, well, that's going to be 1. So a lot of people are seeing that question. I can tell you right now, that's not going to be exact, but it's very similar to that. So let me show you one more.
Hey, Michelle.
Yeah.
I found that explanation on,
Okay.
and this is what it says in my book, okay? It says, let's say John Doe wants to borrow $100,000 to buy a house. The lender says the interest rate on a 30-year home mortgage is currently 5%. However, the lender also says that John can buy down the interest rate. To do this, John pays the bank, say $1,000 now, usually 1% of the loan, and in return, the bank changes the interest rate on the mortgage to 4.75. This costs John more money up front, but it will lower his payments for the next 30 years.
4.75 for 1 point.
Right, and that's why.
Hold on, maybe it's right. Hold on. Let's look. He bought 1 point. No, it's gonna, what book do you have?
Real Estate Express. I know, right? I know.
I'm sorry. Now I really can't put this on YouTube.
Why didn't I didn't know you 6 months ago? I know.
If the person knew what Michelle's teaching, basically is basic math with fractions is what you're doing, and percentages, what math is all about. If they would have known, or if you understood how math works, you would have been able to figure out that they bought 2 points and not 1, and that question was wrong. Because
Yeah,
it gave you the
you
answer that
understand
it bought,
for sure.
that it bought down 1/4%.
Let's look at something else real quick. Now that you brought up a different school, I just want to put this out there because this might save someone a point. I'm not going to say any school name, but I will tell you that there is a school out there that on their course, it tells you that if you don't do your post license, that your license is involuntary and active. Absolutely not true. If you don't do your post license, your license is null and void. So I talk to people all the time and they say, no, it's in the book. And they show me in the book, kind of what you just did there. And so, okay, let's get back to the math. So discount points, all you have to tell yourself is, if they want to know the new effective yield to the lender, you're going to put the points over 8 and reduce and add. If they say something like, well, how do you get an entire percent? Well, an entire percent, that's going to take 8 whole points. So definitely, I have questions on that thing I emailed you, and I'll email it to anyone that doesn't have it. But those are going to become so much easier, like the other gentleman said. It's like, oh, you just put it over 8, reduce and add. Yes, unless they ask you it backwards. Let's look at one more backwards one. If you had a 7% loan, don't say it out loud, okay? Oh, let me give you this one. I'm going to give you 2 more. If you had a 7% loan and you got 8 points, what is the new effective yield to the lender? Don't say it out loud. If you had a 7% loan and you bought 8 points, what is the new effective yield to the lender? So what do? Well, we know we put the points over 8, always, reduce, and add 8%. Okay, let me give you one backwards. Go closest the best. I'm going to disagree, but I like that you like it. I thought my school's the best, but okay. Real estate.
Your school really is the best. I'm not just saying that, but I can't believe the conflicts that I've found in my school compared to what you're teaching, and what you're teaching is so logical and straightforward. And I had this concept until I read that. And then I'm like,
we need to see Michelle, what she's doing, please.
Ma'am, we are here today to have a very interactive, like getting together course. If you don't have time to be on today, just click off because I'm going to record it. So I really do encourage that feedback, because a lot of the times when people are taking a prep or like a presentation like this, it's because you're stressed. You're taking a test that's going to mean something to you for a career that is, your life. So we don't want to rush it. I get it. I'm so glad you want to see me. That's good. I wish my husband would more, right? My kids. But definitely, I encourage all that feedback. And if you love your school, I'm so glad you love your school, because that means you're having a good experience. But thank you for the compliment on mine too. So let's go on and, let me give you one more backwards one, and then we'll go on to the next. Okay, here it is. If you had a 3% interest rate, and the new effective yield to the lender is 3.75%, how many points did you buy? If you had a 3 and you increase their yield to 3/4, take your time. Yay, you're all getting it in the chat. So this one it takes a second. So take your time. Let's give it a good 10 seconds.
Quick question. So is it always 8 points?
Always.
Okay, thank you.
It's always 1/8. It's always 1/8. 1 point is always 1/8. 2 points is 2/8. If I said to you, hey, how many points would 1 point increase the lender's yield? You would say 1 point. Oh, that's 1/8. How many points would 2? Well, that's 2/8. How many points would 4? Oh, 4/8. And we know, of course, to reduce it. So
Ms. Early, quick question.
Yeah, please.
Because I'm getting confused on the second part. So remember you had say you have a 1/8, 2/8, 3, and you had the 6/8. What are you doing to get that second number? Are you saying how many times a number goes into the 6 and how many times?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing there? That's what I'm getting lost at.
And I'm so glad you asked, because if I didn't have kids that recently went through middle school or elementary school, I wouldn't remember this either. When you're reducing a fraction, you're always trying to find out what is the biggest number that will go into both. So when you look at a number like 6 and 8, the biggest number that will go into both is 2, because 3 won't go into 8, 4 won't go into 6. So the biggest number is 2. And then you figure out how many times will 2 go into 6. So 2, 4, 6, it goes in 3 times. How many times will 2 go into 8? 2, 4, 6, 8, 4 times. And that's how you do it. What some people do.
It's an even number of times. So 4 wouldn't, okay.
And another thing you can do is straight memorization. 1.18. 2 points, you could do a flashcard, is a quarter. 4 points, a half. 6 points, 3/4. 8 points, a whole percent.
Okay.
How did they come
this-
up with the arbitrary number of 8 though for the points?
Just mathematically, they say it's a rule of thumb that every point bought increases the lender's yield by 1/8.
Okay.
The rule of thumb, yeah. I was hesitant about putting discount points on here because you're not in here, so we can like individually help each person and stuff, but you're just gonna see it. And I really wanted you to see that you really can make it easy by just putting the points over 8, reduce, add. But in this case, you can't do that because they're saying, how do I get from 3 to 3 1/4? Well, let's see how many 8s it takes to get 3/4. Will 1 point do it? No. Will 2 points do it? No. Will 4 points do it? No. Will 6 points do it? There it is. There it is. They bought 6 points. That's how they increased the lender's yield to 3/4. And in reality, this person is not going to have a 3%. Well, actually, you can't. We won't do it here. Let's leave that one there. We're not really as concerned about what it's going to do to ours because until that one person said it, I've never even heard that. But just remember, it's the same either way. So,
Michelle,
yeah.
Michelle, can I just in reference to the young lady who was on the phone, on the computer the other day, a minute ago, just asking about the 8. To make it simple for her, because you explained it in the beginning, it takes 8 years to basically a person to
That's a
recuperate. So the
coincidence.
number, the 8 is a magic number. Your
Yeah.
bottom number is always going to be 8 because it takes 8 years for people to basically recoup that amount that they've paid in an 8-year process.
That's how I remembered it too, but technically it's like a coincidence, but whatever makes you remember, that's great.
Right.
So if I said to you, let me see if I can just throw one out there. If I said to you, you have a 2% interest rate and you bought 4 points. A 2% interest rate and you bought 4 points. What is the new effective yield to the lender?
2.5.
2.5. Or if they said, how many points did you buy to go from 2 to 2.5? 4. Okay, I think we did it. I think we covered it. Good, good, good. Okay, let's go on to commission. Now listen to this. I already said it, but this is crazy. You're going to have 3 commission questions. Most people do. We're talking about 25% of your math is going to be commission. So we want to go nice and slow. Again, if you don't have time, log off. I'll put it somewhere and send it to you, something. So here's how you do commission. So I'm going to ignore this paper for now and just take you through how to do a commission question from the very start till it gets complicated. So we'll crawl a little bit and then we'll jog, then we'll run, something like that. So let me show you how. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have.
No, go ahead.
So when you said the earlier example, the 3 3/4. So the 3. So I know you have the 6 8 equals 3/4, but what about the 3? What do you do with that? Because it's 3 3/4.
So if I ask you how many, if someone had a 3% and they bought 6 points, what is the new effective yield to the lender? Because that's most of the time how you're going to see it.
Okay.
So if they had 3% and they bought 6 points, here's how you would do it just to keep it as like simple as possible. You say, oh, okay, hold on. This goes over 8 always. This reduces to this always. And I add it to this. Because you gave them money, they're not just getting 3% from you. They're getting 3 3/4 or 3 1/4%. Excuse me, 3 and 3.75% because you gave them money today. It increases their yield because you handed them a wad of cash.
Okay, so what was your final answer from the previous example? The 3% equals 3 3/4.
3% equals 3. Was it the one where we said it's at 3% and how did we get to 3 3/4?
Yeah, 3%, and then you said 3 3/4.
So this question would say this. If a borrower had a 3% loan and the new effective yield to the lender was 3 3/4 percent, how many points did they buy? And that's gonna be 6.
Oh, got it.
Because they ask it
Got it.
straight forward or backwards.
Okay,
Or they could even ask you, like a lot of people are seeing, how many points would it take to increase the yield an entire percent? And you would say, oh, that's 8 points.
got it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So here's how you do commission. First off, you always start with the sales price. Don't fall into the trap that I always want to fall into and just grab the first number you see, because on the state exam, a lot of times they give you the list price and the sales price. So that's just one quick tip. Start with the sales price. So let's say that a house sold for $500,000. The very first thing you always do with commission is you find out what it was listed at. What percentage did the seller agree to pay the broker who listed it? So we're going to use 6% because that's a custom. It's the custom. So what we do first is we find out how much money did the seller agree to pay? And the answer, of course, is $30,000. The next thing it would ask you, if it was asking this question, it would say, if a sales associate and a broker are on a 70-30 split, meaning the sales associate gets 70 and the broker gets 30, how much money does the sales associate get from this? So let me show it to you, and then I'll tell you, I'll answer the question that you're probably asking. So let me show it to you first. If you get 70% of this, then you get, what is that, 21,000? So listen to this, because this is probably the question that you're asking yourself right now. What about the other company? When you see a question like this, what they're telling you is let's say it's me, I listed this. Of course, we know I didn't, my broker did. You know what I mean. I did all the work. My broker technically listed it. But either way, I listed it at $500,000 for 6%. And the seller agreed to pay my brokerage this much. Because I don't have any other information, what you're to assume is that I also brought the buyer. Now, even as a single agent or a transaction broker, you can do that. Hopefully you've learned that, from chapter 4. But that means that I worked with both parties in the transaction. So that's why if it said my broker gets 30% and I get 70, well, I'm the one who listed it. My sign was in the yard, and I'm the one who found the buyer to buy it. So I get a nice paycheck, $21,000. So let me show you some more. Hold questions on this one just for a few minutes, because I'm going to probably answer it as I go through by showing you some more stuff. We want to keep it nice and simple, and then we'll complicate it like the state does, of course.
Michelle, I have a question. You keep referring back to pages on books. What book are you talking about? Are you talking about the books that we've got from our real estate schools, or are you talking about books?
No,
Okay.
absolutely. The book
Okay.
from your real estate school. So every book
Got
has 19, it has 19
Okay.
chapters. The best book, and it's not my opinion, it is just not nationwide, it's a statewide fact, is going to be Linda Crawford. And right now she's up to the 45th edition. So it's on Amazon. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, my pleasure. So let's say that the house sold for $400,000, and let's go ahead and use our same 6% as commission because it's a custom. So the amount that the seller has agreed to pay is $24,000. And let's say this time you and your broker are on an 80-20 split. The question would say, how much does the sales associate get? So we would say, well, whatever 80% of 24,000 is. If you can do that in your head, I'm going to put it in my calculator. $19,200. So again, this question is assuming that whoever listed it, me, I also brought the buyer. So now you may see one of those for sure, but you're definitely going to see one like this. Let me show it to you. So let's go back and say it's a $500,000 sales price. You see that? Yeah, it's a $500,000 sales price. And let's just say it was listed at 6%, the custom. But this time, when I listed it, let's say I work at Keller Williams and my sign is in the yard and I list it, and let's say someone from EXP or Caldwell Banker or any other company, or even someone in my own brokerage, but let's just say someone from EXP brought a buyer. So EXP brought the buyer. As the person who listed it, I would put in the MLS how I was going to split the commission. What we're going to do here is we're going to say it's 50-50 because that's the custom. We'll just keep it custom. So what you do here is you divide by 2. And let me show you why. Well, here's 15,000, but watch this. The seller agreed to pay $30,000. 15,000 goes to my brokerage at Keller Williams. 15,000 goes to EXP. So that makes sense. 15 and 15, because the seller doesn't care. They agreed to pay 30,000. Too bad I didn't bring the buyer. That would have been pretty sweet because I would have had a bigger check, but whatever. Someone else brought a buyer. We accepted the offer. Everything was good. Now the question is, if the person who listed it, this is this side, if the broker gets 40%, how much is the sales associate's check? So we take the 15,000, which is what is in my brokerage, and I, the sales associate, get 60%. That's going to be the answer, whatever that is. Here, let's just put it up there. 15,123 times 0.6. 9,000. So this is all very standard. That's a very common sales price. That's just custom. This is custom. This is pretty standard. They say around here in Sarasota, it's 10, 12, something like that once it does all this splitting. But this is how you do it. Always the sales price. Always whatever amount it was listed at. This is what the seller agrees to pay. If a competing broker brought the buyer, this is where you split it. You can split it 60-40, 30-20, or 20-80. Most of the time, I don't know, on the state exam though, it's hard as can be. They probably don't keep it this way anymore. Typically it's the custom, split it in half. Once you get the amount that's in your brokerage, then you just read the question and see what they want. Do they want to know how much the broker made or how much the sales associate made? So let me show you what they're also going to do.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So whenever you want to find out the price for how much the sales associate made, if it was like 60-40, say the sales associate was 60%, you just times 0.06?
No, so I'm glad you asked that too. So check this out. If you have, let's say 50%, you have 50% and you want to take the percent and make it a decimal, the way you do that is you take the decimal, which is always at the end, you take the decimal and you move it 2 places. Because you move it 2 places, you can get rid of that and you put the decimal here, 0.5, because this is the same as this, which is the same as this. Any zeros after that don't count when it's a decimal. So if you're doing 6%, it's 0.06. If you're doing 60%, it's 0.6 or 0.60. I put the 0 just because it looks better. So anytime it says 6%, it's 0.06. Anytime it says 60%, it's 0.60 or just 0.6. This is 6%. This is 60%. See, watch the zeros. 1, 2. Now it's 60. 1, 2. Now it's 6. Because the 0 doesn't matter. You can have as many of those.
Michelle?
Yeah.
Question. On your previous example you gave up there about splitting that 30,000 and all that, how would the question read when it's actually asking you something like that? Because when I got your printouts and I did the math and I came up to the same answers you had on your math, it doesn't explain it that way in here. It's just asking you, what is the salesperson? So you're assuming that that percentage is based on buying from one broker.
All of those that I gave you, yes, except for D. If you look at D, that's the one that says a competing broker brought them and it's a 50-50. So
Oh,
definitely.
didn't get there. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, this one shows it because I kind of went from easiest to hardest, kind of,
Yes,
because it gets a
okay.
little complicated.
Okay,
For
thank
those-
you.
Hi, Michelle, a question, please.
Yeah.
So when the listing agent brings buyer, that's called a single agency, right?
No, a single agent means that, oh yeah, I love chapter 4, but it's definitely, I should probably just do a presentation just on chapter 4. But let me tell it to you real quick. A transaction broker means that you work with the buyer and the seller because you're a transaction broker facilitating a transaction. If you're a single agent for one side, that's a fiduciary relationship, meaning you're like a lawyer. You represent that one side. Means you can't work with the other side. Well, how do you work with the other side so that we can always make more money? And the answer is, if you're a single agent, you have to transition to a transaction broker and the disclosure to sign. Or you can show the buyer, if you're a single agent for the seller, you can show the buyer a non-representation called a no brokerage relationship, because now you can still work with both sides. You work for the seller as a single agent and a no representation for the buyer, and by showing that disclosure. And listen to this. If you don't take anything away from that, it's okay. It takes 2 hours to really explain agency and then you get it. But listen to this. On the state exam, you're going to see a question that says this, almost 100%. If it's not 100%, you tell me and I'll stop saying it, but I'm certain you're going to have a question. And again, we don't want to say it exact, but here it is. When do you show the no brokerage relationship disclosure? And the answer is before showing property. Before showing property, you got it. When do you show the no brokerage relationship? Because remember, if I'm a single agent for the seller, how can I get the buyer to come in? Well, I can't because I'm a single agent for the seller. But yes, I can because I'll show the buyer the no brokerage relationship, or I'll have the seller sign the consent to transition to transaction broker. And now I can be a transaction broker for both sides. So here in Florida, we don't have dual agency. Some states like California and New York, they have dual agency. You can be a single agent for the seller and the buyer, not in Florida. This is the only way you can work with both sides in Florida. 2 ways. As a transaction broker for the buyer and the seller, or as a single agent, let's say for the seller, and a no brokerage for the buyer. That's it. If it's not those 2 things, it's a violation.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It took me a long time to figure that chapter out, but it's almost like discount points. Once you get it, you're like, bing, got it. So definitely going to see questions on that. Yes.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
I was trying to do question D on the commissions.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get the
Let's
answer.
do it together. If you don't have it, no worries.
Okay.
But maybe when you watch this back, if you do, then you'll have it in front of you. So let me go ahead and just do it as if you do have it, because it says, first thing, when I read this question, any math question, which the math is going to be at the very end of your test. Oh, and by the way, the first 3 questions will be the hardest because they're trying to throw you off your game. So don't let them do that. But anyway, if you see math, meaning like the answers are numbers, read the last sentence first, because that tells you what they want. So this says how much sales associate received. So I'm just gonna, where do I do that at? I was gonna mute it, it doesn't matter. Okay, as long as you can hear, it's fine. So what I do, I say, oh, this is a commission question. Now I'm looking for the sales price. So in this one, the sales price is $486. Next, I know I'm looking for how much it was listed at. That's 6%. So let's see. 486, 1, 2, 3 times 0.06. So the seller agreed to pay $29,160. So now I read it to see, did I list it and bring the buyer? Hopefully, nope, I didn't. Another brokerage office found the buyer. Oh, well, next time. So then I look, how is it split? This one's 50-50. So this is where I divide it by 2, because half the money that the seller pays goes to one brokerage and half goes to the other. So let's do it. Let's split it into 29,160 divided by 2. So one brokerage gets 14,580 and the other brokerage gets 14,580. And this question wants to know, oh, I know why you missed it. I missed this one too the first time because I thought, oh, I can do this quick. Don't ever do it quick. This is tricky. It says this, the selling broker kept 45% of the commission. How much did the sales associate get? Well, let me ask you, if the broker got 45% of this, how much percent did the sales associate get? 55, because it's out of 100. If the broker got 45, they're just messing with you in this question. I'm messing with you because this is what they're going to do to you. So you would figure out, you would take that times 0.55 or times 55%, whichever way you do it. 8,019. So you have to read it carefully because this question is just mean. It tells you what the broker gets, and then it asks you how much does the sales associate get. So you would say, well, if the broker got 45% out of 100, I get 55%. So you're definitely going to see that. Did that help it? Did you see that? It got me too the first time because I was going too fast.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay,
And
so
you
let
go,
me-
would you mind going over letter C?
That's the one.
commissions?
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to do now because
Okay.
this one, I'm going to tell you right now.
Thank you.
I'm not that person that's like, I'm so great at math. Never have been that person. But I am that person that will sit there and figure it out until it makes sense. So I take that gift, which is not smarts, but just like whatever word that is. And I tell myself, I know the formula to commission. So I don't have to do your math question the way you want me to do it. I do it different. I'm not doing it the math way. It's too hard. I use a substitution method. So let me show you what I mean. If you had a question that said a sales associate lists a house for 7% and she gets to keep 70% and she makes $34,055, what was the sales price? Okay, you know what? I won't play their game. I play my game. Here's what I do. I start with A. I pretend A is the sales price. So if the sales price was $485,000, then I just do the question. If at the end her check matches, that was the sales price. If it doesn't, that was not the sales price. So let's do it together. 485,000, and it was listed for 7%. So let's put that in the calculator. 485, 123 times 0.07. 33,950. And how much does she get to keep of that? 70%. 70%, so times 0.7. Her check would be 23,765. Then I go back to my question. Oh, no, her check was 34,000. This is not the sales price. Then I go to B. I put B and I just do the formula because it is so much easier to memorize formulas than to learn complicated math. So let's pretend it is 695,000, which is on B. Are you following me here?
Yes.
Good, okay. You can do it the math way. I just do it this way because it's easier. So 695, 123 times point. I'm just pretending the sales price is 695,000. I'm just pretending. And then I just work it out. And now let's see, she gets 70%. 30,000, 34,000, 055. This is the sales price. Now, I know you math people are freaking out and yelling at me over there. I've heard it all in class. But the people that say, oh, this is genius, you love it. So now, if you just want to use this and divide up, you can do that too. But honestly, I don't like doing it that way. I memorized the formula. Sales price times what it was listed at. And then how much of it do I get to keep? Because listen to this. They may tell you this and this and this. And they may ask you, what was it listed at? No problem. Put in A, it was listed at 4%. Put in B, it was listed at 5%. Eventually, your numbers are going to match. So that's commission. 3 questions on commission. 3. The next one's called the bins. 50% that you're going to get this. 50%. The reason it's 50% is because everybody gets the bins or the lots. The bins or the lots, which is the next one. So this bins question, let me put it in the chat in case you don't have it, because I don't want you just to hear me rambling on. Process of elimination, yeah, way easier. I think so too. Okay, let me put this in the chat. Okay. I'm gonna do A. Okay, it's in there. So the question says a building is 4 stories high and each floor is 100 by 50. I want to put bins in all the space I can, and I can't use 20% of each floor. The bins are 5 by 5. How many bins can I put in this building? Okay, so let's look. Here's how I do it as a visual learner. The first thing I do is I draw the building. And this building says that it has 4 stories. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And it says that each story is 100 by 50. So what that means is that if I were to multiply this together, it would give me the area, like if I was going to buy carpet and I needed the area of how much is inside. So that means that every floor has 5,000 square feet. So that means 5, 10, 15, 20. This whole building on the floor has 20,000 square feet. Now I'm going to do this different than a lot of people do, and that's okay. If you do it different and you get the right answer, do it your way. I'm just going to show you how I do it. Seen it done some crazy ways, but this to me is how I do it. Right now, I have 20,000 square feet that I have to work with to put these bins all over the floor, bins, bins, bins. But I can't use 20% of each floor. This is how I do it. I figure out what is 20% of each floor. So 20% of 5,000 is 1,000. That means for every single floor, I cannot use 1,000 square feet. 1, 2, 3, 4. I cannot use 4,000 square feet to line up these bins. So I get it out of there. I get it out of there. Now I'm left with how many square feet I actually can use, which is 16,000 square feet. Now I just have to figure out how many bins I can put in there. So each bin is 5 by 5. So each bin is 25 square feet. So how can I figure out how many 25s will go into 16,000? Divide it by 25. So you got a couple more on here. Just follow this formula and you will get the right answer every time. And it's exactly, in my experience, 50% that you'll see this. How much is each floor? How much of it can you not use? Get it out of there. Whatever you have left, divide it by how big the bins are. And just do that each time and you'll get it. I had this one on my state exam. I remember being pissed off because I studied the whole book and I knew there was nothing like no bins anywhere in the book. And then I realized it's a basic math question. Not easy basic. Basic because I don't need additional information. The next one we're going to do The last one, you're gonna need additional information on that one that you may not have, but not like this. This one you could figure out if you just hadn't tinkered with it. So let me show you the last one. It's called the lots, is what I call it. Calculating lots per acre. I just call it the lots. Once we finish this problem, I'm going to share my screen with you and show you a whole bunch of questions you're going to see on the state exam, okay? So let's, because it's only 2:20. I thought this was going to take longer, so if anyone, if you just want to stay for that. So, okay, let's do the last one. The lots. Let me put it in the chat so you have it. Put it in the chat. Hopefully you printed it and you have it, but just in case. Oh, you know what I can do? I can actually make this. No, because then if I share my screen, you won't be able to see me. Okay, never mind. Let me just put it in this chat. Residential zone counter REQR. Actually, it's too long. Let me just, because I don't want to waste your time. If you don't have it, I'm going to read it to you, but otherwise when you're rewatching it, then you can just, you'll have it in front of you. Here's what it says. A residential zoning category requires at least 15,000 square feet per lot. The developer is reserving 20% of the land to streets, sidewalks, and a community center, and the tract for land for development is 50 acres. How many lots are available? Here's what's going on here. You have got a tract of land that is 50 acres, so it's gigantic. And the question simply wants to know, if I own those 50 acres and I want to develop it, how many lots am I going to be able to sell? Because at the end of the day, I want to be able to sell a whole bunch of lots and make a whole bunch of money. And it tells you that every lot has to be 15,000 square feet. So if I told you how many square feet this was, you would, and you could use every bit of it, you would just take that and you would divide it by 15,000 and you'd be done. But it doesn't do that. It's a state exam, 6th hardest test in the country, of course. And so on this one, it starts with acres. So it tells us that we have 50 acres. Well, what we need to do is we need to turn that acres into square feet, because then we can use it, the same unit of measure. So what you have to memorize for 2 questions on the state exam, maybe 3, but definitely 2 questions, is how many square feet are in 1 acre? And the answer is 1 acre contains 43,560 square feet. So it doesn't matter how it's shaped. If it's 1 acre, that's how many square feet are in it. So on YouTube, this is how I remember it. And you probably have heard this before because you're all over YouTube. YouTube. Man, oh man, I wish I could tell you stuff. Just make sure, I know you've probably already heard me say this before, because I'm watching the same YouTube videos you are. Most of those YouTube videos are not for Florida. They are for the national exam, or for the California exam, or the New York exam, or there's a new guy, the Texas exam. They all say this: study for the real estate exam. Study for the real estate exam. Well, which one? Because ours is different. So you know who I'm talking about. You've seen, you know who they are. You know them. Okay, it doesn't matter. Stop watching that. It's not good. It's a wrong test. 1 acre, 43,560 square feet. So when you're driving in Florida and you look up, the car's going slow, it's always 4 nuns doing 35 in a 60. So it's 4 nuns doing 35 miles in a 60-mile-an-hour zone, because you got to memorize that. And I just heard that on YouTube and it stuck with me for like 2 years. I was talking about 4 nuns doing 35 in a 60. I finally had it memorized.
This is A, right? This is question A.
For letter A, no, it's B.
It's question B.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Question A. Question A. Yeah. I thought you were asking the answer. Yeah. Question
right,
A. Lots A. Yeah. So 1 acre equals 43,560. Memorize it. How many? If 1 acre contains 43,560 square feet, how can I figure out how many square feet are in 50 acres? So I would multiply, of course. So once you multiply that, 50 acres, we need the square feet, 43,560. It's going to be huge, 2,178,000. So this figure represents how big the whole thing is, right? Now the question says, I can't use all of this. But what I need to figure out is how much of this can I use? Well, if I cannot use 20% of this, because I could just take 20% and then minus it. But again, we can skip a step. How much of 100%, if I cannot use 20%, can I use to develop lots? 80. I can use 80%. Now, if you're more comfortable taking 20% of this and then minusing it from that, that's fine. You're going to get the same answer times 0.8, which is 1,742,400. This figure represents actual usable space to develop your lots. And the next question, or the next thing is, if every lot is 15,000 square feet, how many lots can I make? So how can I figure out how many 15,000s go in that? How can I figure that out? Divide it by 15,000. And the answer then, of course, is B, 116. Now, if it's 116 and a remainder, we don't have enough space for another lot, so we round down. I did that one on purpose. So listen to this one more time. How much space do I have? Turn that into square feet. Figure out how much of that you can actually use to develop the lots, and then divide it by how big each lot is. Now, they could have said, we're going to make 20 lots. How big is each lot? No problem. Divide it by 20, and it'll tell you how big each lot is. So those 5 questions are going to cover 6 points on your state exam. 3 commission, 1 discount. Get this. 3 commission, 1 discount, 1 street paving, and either the bends or the lots. So I know I said it at the beginning, but if it was me, I would add a little bit of the prorations, and then I would look at doc stamps on the deed, doc stamps in the note, and the intangibles, and I would call math done. Because if you add those 6 questions that I just added to that, you're set. I mean, except maybe a little bit of mills, but I'd probably even let that one go because there's just bigger fish to fry. So yeah.
I'm sorry, you had the breakdown. How many street paving, discount points, and commission and bins and lots? You said questions?
So most people in my experience get 1 street paving, almost every person.
Okay.
Almost every person is gonna have 1 discount point. Every person in my experience is gonna have 3 commission questions. And then you're either going to have the bins or the lots.
Or the lots, okay.
Yeah, I've never had
One or
anybody-
the other.
Yep.
Okay.
I've never had anybody have both, and I've never had anybody not have one. So it's one or the
Okay.
other. And if you look at it, it's the same question. I have this much space. I can't use
Right.
this much. What do I put in there?
Okay.
Now, let me ask you a question. Could
Yep.
you go back to where you had the actual usable space and you divided it by 15,000? Where did you get the 15,000? For some reason, I just lost that.
So it tells you in the question that each lot is going to be 15,000 square feet.
Okay, I don't have that.
Let me see. So it was under, let's see. Where are you? It's under lots A, and it's the first sentence.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Tinker with those because that's going to be the bulk of your math. Again, if you put some prorations in there and you put some doc stamps on the deed, note, and intangibles, you're there. I mean, that's going to be it.
Quick question, Michelle.
Yeah.
And this goes way back to the math questions we did on the discount points. Have you ever heard, I mean, I got the whole concept of it, but have you ever heard them asking a question on the buyer's discount at all on the test?
I have never heard it. I will tell you that someone just on this cram course said they had it, but I have never, thousands of people, but they've also made the test harder than ever. So what I would just take note of is if it increases the lender's yield by 1 point, then it also decreases the buyer's yield by 1/8. So even though we haven't talked about it that way, you do know it. So if you're that person that gets it, if you're that unlucky person, then you'll know it because it is the same.
One
last quick thing before I show you some more stuff. We were talking about other schools, and really at the end of the day, as long as you get your license, it doesn't matter what school you went to, because the whole thing is to get into this amazing career. So keep that in mind for sure. But I do want to tell you that a lot of those courses, if you have to go on to a course and you have to select which state that you're going to be in, probably that material was not written in this state. And the guidelines for having material actually published, even though they're very strict, stuff gets through. I mean, there's companies that tell you that you're post-license. If you don't do it, you're involuntary inactive. So if you see a weird, math thing in your book and you say, I don't know if this is right, give the school a call. Karina or Jeannie is going to be there, or it's going to be me. Most of the time at this point, I did hire two ops managers, and they are fully trained in this material, because I want to be that school that when you call, you can actually say, hey, help me with this math question. Help me with this, whatever it is that you have. So, I feel like that's something that no school is going to have, because if someone's answering the phone, maybe they don't know the material. But if you call and they don't know it, first off, I'd be surprised. But you ask them for my cell phone number, they'll give it to you. If you need support, we're here. So let me do this. There's not that many people on. We only have 104. I guess that's a lot though, 104 people. What do you want me to just show you? Let me share my screen. Let's do this, because I feel like we have more time.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So I'm doing first of all, thank you so much for this, because you've been like very, very, very good at explaining. I'm from Colombia.
Wait,
so
is that
sometimes
you, Sabrina, talking?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, that's my daughter's name. That's my favorite name.
Oh.
Girl. Oh, Sabrina. I love it. Okay, sorry,
Thank
go
you
ahead.
so much. So I'm from Colombia, and sometimes it's very tricky to understand, like the translation, right? So I did this exam like a prior weeks ago in Spanish, and it was horrible, and I didn't pass the exam because the translation was really, really bad. Yeah. So I decided to do it in English. I'm having a little trouble with chapter number 4 because it's a lot of information. Okay. Do you think I can have like a private class or something like that?
So let me do this. Let me just go. Let me show you something from chapter 4. Here, let's do this, because a lot of people are like, I came from math, I don't want to hear anymore. A lot of people are like, I'm obsessed. What are we going to talk about next? Let's take a 2-minute break to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go grab my book. I really don't need it because I could do it without it, but I'm going to show you everything they're going to ask you in chapter 4 in my experience, because even though chapter 4 is like the hardest chapter of the whole book, it's really kind of standard what they ask. So let me just go back so you're not staring at like my screen here. Let me do pause share. Let me go back. Okay, what are you seeing? Are you seeing me or are you seeing my screen?
You.
Stop share. Okay, are you seeing me again? Okay, we're good, right? This is all you're seeing is just me?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go get my book, take a 2-minute break to go to the restroom, and then actually, you know what we could do, because I'm not putting this on YouTube because, it's just too hard. People won't have the papers that you had. So what we can actually do, if anyone wants to, which why wouldn't you, we can go through every chapter and I can just show you what they're going to ask you. Because it's fun. Okay, let's do that. Take a 2-minute break.
Hey, I like that too.
Yeah, let's
amazing.
Do that.
Thank you.
I'll be back. 2 minutes.
So, how's everybody's day going?
Pretty good.
Pretty good so far.
Good.
Good.
So,
I have a question.
Yeah, so far.
How many of you guys are still taking your real estate class to just do the real estate 63 hours? And how many are you actually taking the state exam?
I'm taking the state exam.
Yeah, state exam.
I've taken it twice. No success yet.
Taking
I'm
the
gonna take
state
mine
exam
and then
on
of them
Friday.
Oh, on Friday. Well, good luck to you. And for the one who's taken it a couple times, I'll be praying for you. What's your name?
Thank you. My name is Tanisha Sunshine.
Tanisha, I'll be praying that the Lord opens up your mind when you need it to be able to finish and get it done, and so you can get in your career.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You're welcome. Good luck to all of you guys. I haven't even applied yet. I'm supposed to take my exam, but I figured I'll take the course, learn some stuff, and then go and apply to get my date for my exam.
Yeah, I think the best thing we could do is just take it easy and just understand each chapter like really good. Like don't go over it so fast.
Yeah. You
My
definitely gotta understand.
My suggestion to those taking the exam is everything Michelle is teaching us right now, we need to go over it. We need to go over it with.
And then the routing number and then the account number. Routing number is the second one, then the account
Uh-oh,
number.
somebody's giving some account number out. You don't.
Oh,
want
yeah. I'm sorry.
Mute your phone, mute your phone.
Trying to mute yourself, baby.
Can I ask a question? How long did it take DBPR to send you the approval to take the exam after you applied?
So like
Mine took over a month and a half, almost 2.
Month and a half.
Guys,
Yeah,
good
about a month
afternoon.
and a half.
How you guys doing?
How long for you guys to actually get a date? You just go on there and pick a date and you're good?
Yeah.
So my
Okay.
advice on that is before you start taking your 63-hour classes, you need to schedule for the DBPR stuff because so that once you're done with your 63-hour classes, you just go take the exam immediately. That way, everything you learn will still be fresh in your mind.
Okay, gotcha. I'm already past that stage. I'm going to take the exam. I just need to know if you pick the date, does it take like 2-3 weeks out, a month out, or do they give you a date like it could be next week if you want?
No, it took almost 2 months before I got mine.
Oh wow.
No, it could be, you could pick a date. The dates are like pretty much open. Just depends on when you want to do it.
When you're ready. Okay.
If
got
you do it
got
online, you have the availability for like just about every day. But if it's in person, you have availability based on like how many people is taking it on that day.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought she was asking when we register with DBPR.
Oh no, I'm over all of that already.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You say you could do it online?
Yes.
Yes.
But when you do it online, you can't get up for your seat. So you have to be there for the whole time. So you can't go up.
You cannot get up
use
to
the
go pee.
bathroom.
Pearson VUE has different testing sites
Yeah.
where you can take it from home.
Oh, that's interesting.
Hey, I have a question.
It's different when you take it from home though. You can't have a calculator. You have to use the one that's on the computer. You can't get up. There's a lot more stipulations if
Yeah,
you
they're
take it
tough
at home.
when you test from home.
They're gonna
Tough.
want
It's better
they're
to
gonna
take it
want
at the
to
test
take a-
center.
They're gonna want to take a tour of the room you are. There's not gonna be any sound, no noise.
Which I get it, you know, people cheat and they don't want that happening. So, but it's
you
interesting
got
that
people
they even
working
give
at
that
home, too.
option.
Hey, this is John. I have a question for everybody. I'm out here in Las Vegas. I'm a licensed agent, and I'm moving to St. Augustine in September, and I wanted to get my license done. So when I get there, I'm ready to go. 3/4 of the way through the book, already training and the online classes. So did someone say it takes 2 months to get an appointment?
No, you can look on there and they may have an appointment available for you next week or like it just, you can look on there and get
Yeah,
to
I'll be
pick
doing
yours.
the online thing.
It takes, I think what they were trying to say was it takes the Department of Real Estate in Florida, once you pass your 63 hours,
Right.
it takes a month or month and a half before they send you a letter saying, okay, you're good to go. Go ahead and
Well,
get your.
That's
your-
correct.
your-
Well,
your
that's why
test
you
done
have
now.
to, that's why you can go ahead and sign up for your class while you're in class to ensure that you get a sooner date.
Right,
Yes.
and I have Pearson VUE out here because that's where I took my test when I first started.
Yeah, I would advise you to go ahead and look now so that way you'll know when you'll be done with your tests, so that way you'll be able to go ahead and pick a date and not have one that, you know, one that fits you best.
Yeah, you want to just make sure that you've got everything with the Department of Real Estate, the application and all of that submitted. And all they're waiting for is for you to have your certificate saying you finished your hours,
Correct.
because that's
You
going to
cannot
take about a
even- you
month.
cannot
It'll take a
even
month for
set
them
a
to
date.
respond to you.
You cannot even set a date before you have been approved to take the test. So
Right.
don't be trying to set a date and you're not approved by the
Yeah, no.
DBPR.
That's correct.
To,
That's
you know,
correct.
to even go on Pearson VUE, because you're gonna need that access number to even look at the date.
Right,
Right.
sign the affidavit after you finish your class online. And
You're
then
taking a class online, John?
I'm doing the class.
Oh, hey,
Classes
Joyce.
online and reading the book now. And how you doing? So I'm gonna be taking the test here in Vegas, when I'm ready for it, as soon as I'm ready to finish with the class.
They let you do that in another state for Florida?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, because it's not, they
It's
don't
mutual,
accept.
it's mutual recognition.
Mutual, yeah, recognition.
There's also a boot camp that you
You
can
mean
take
mutual
right
recognition?
before you sit for the exam.
I think Michelle's back.
Yeah, is someone on here studying for their mutual recognition test?
Yes, I am Miss Price.
Okay, you're studying for your mutual recognition test? Oh my gosh, I'm so
From a
excited.
course.
I'm putting together a cram course right now, but I haven't shot the videos, but I have made the tests. And these tests are amazing. So just email me at the end of this. Now, this isn't for anyone else because it will not help. Well, I mean, it's not going to hurt, but the mutual recognition test is completely different than the Florida State exam. So the
Right.
mutual recognition test is specifically if you have a license in another state and it's one of those 8 or 9 states that are mutually recognized and you have an active license there and you're wanting to get your Florida real estate license through mutual recognition. So email me and just say to me, I'm studying for mutual recognition, please send me the test. Nobody else do that because it's gonna waste your time. That's
Right.
not gonna help you. You are studying for 2 totally different tests, mutual recognition, Florida State exam, 2 totally different tests. So, so that person that said, yes, they're specifically studying for mutual recognition, make sure you email me. It's Michelle@magnoliaschoolrealestate.com, 2 L's. I'll show it to you as we go on. But everybody else, I'm gonna show you
I
right
got it,
now.
thank you.
I'm going to show you exactly how to pass your state exam. And not just to pass it, I'm going to show you how to make it easy. Because it's not easy, but it can be. And let me show you how. Watch this. Okay, I'm sharing my screen and I'm going to go to Google. And if you have your textbook, get your textbook out so I can show you something that's going to blow your mind. If you don't already know, if you're following me on YouTube, I can't believe I'm just saying that. It's so fancy. If you're following me on YouTube, you already know. But check this out.
Miss Price, I have the 44th edition
Miss Price.
of the book.
Michelle. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were
You
talking
can
to
still
someone
use
else.
the
The
44th,
44th
I
is
think.
fine. The 44th is fine. If it says Linda Crawford and it says 43, 44, or 45, you are good. Anything
Okay.
with Linda Crawford's name, the state follows her and she follows the state. I'm obsessed with her. She's the best. So you got a good book. All right, candidate information booklet for the real estate sales associate exam. Any book that you have, pull it out right now, and I'm going to show you how to pass the state exam. So I'm going to give you like 10 seconds to get your book. It doesn't matter what book, Gold Coast, Burt Rogers, Linda Crawford, it doesn't matter what book. It has 19 chapters, and I'm going to show you what to do with it. Okay, see this candidate information booklet for the real estate sales associate exam? All I did was Google it. It's completely free.
Oh, yeah.
And right here, on about the 4th or 5th page, do you see where it says the real estate business 1%? What that's telling you is that every time you take the state exam, you are only going to have 1 point from chapter 1. You're going to have 6 points from chapter 2, 2 points from chapter 3, 7 points from chapter 4, 12 points from chapter 5, 2 points from chapter 6, 4 points from chapter 7.
What page in the book?
So I'm not in the book, I'm on the screen. Are you seeing my screen? You're seeing
Yes.
where it says content overview and outline, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on Google, I'm not in the book yet. I'm showing you that this candidate information booklet tells you every topic on the state exam. So what I want you to do is follow with me, and I'm just going to show you how to use this as a checklist. So watch this. So I'm on the candidate information booklet. That's chapter 5. If you have Linda Crawford 45th edition, it should be page 89, which is going to be chapter 5. So let's turn to page 89, or any book, turn to chapter 5. Turn to chapter 5, the first page of chapter 5 in your book. Oh my gosh, I'm going to show you how to make this test a breeze. Okay, now go turn the page, and where it says introduction, probably in every book, it'll be like an introduction on chapter 5. What is the first category on chapter 5? What is the very first category?
Broker office.
Brokerage offices, broker office, depending on what book you have, but it's gonna say brokerage offices. And let me show you why. Right here, it tells you that the first topic on chapter 5 they're going to ask you about is brokerage offices. So let me quiz you on what you need to know about brokerage offices. And if you know these, then you would check brokerage offices off your list. First, let me show you something.
Did you say chapter 5?
Chapter 5, yeah, it's a Roman numeral E.
Look where?
The very first the very first page, what is the first topic?
It's actually the second page.
Well,
So
yeah,
when you
but
open
it's
to
the
chapter
first topic.
5,
It's the second
skip to the
page.
next page.
Okay, thank you.
Page 90.
Or
Okay,
any
thank you.
book that you have, it would still be the first topic. It would say brokerage offices.
Okay. I was looking under learning objectives.
It's
So never
page
mind.
90.
Yeah, so you want to look at like the very first topic that they're going to teach you, and that's going to be brokerage offices, no matter which book you have, because this is the syllabus, this candidate information booklet. So see how it says brokerage offices,
Okay.
and then it says advertising. I'm back on the candidate information booklet. See all these? So let me show you something, okay? Check this out. Oh, cannot see without my glasses. Hold on. I want to show you something. I want to show you what I did. Let me think about where I put it. Hold on. What I did. This is what I did to study for the state exam. And this is what I give my students. Do you see how I have the candidate information booklet, but I made it a checklist? So here's what you do. Brokerage offices is the first topic. Advertising is the second. Escrow is the third. Now, what kind of escrow? Is it broker held or attorney held? If you make a checklist of the candidate information booklet and you master every single topic, after you master the topic, check it. What are they going to ask you that you don't know? Because this is the syllabus. So see this cool thing? All I did was just type it up. And here's where I got it from. I got it from, oh, how do I get back to where I was? Here we go.
So you got the
I got it-
checklist?
Yeah,
Or
this
you
is a
made
checklist.
You made the checklist.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I got it from here. The state of Florida, this is what's crazy. The state of Florida doesn't say, oh, you want to be a real estate agent? Surprise, here's the test. They tell you everything on it. But no matter how many times I tell the world, oh my God, use your candidate information booklet, people always call the school and they're like, oh wait, I heard you say that. Oh my gosh, it's a checklist. Chapter 5 has 12 points. It doesn't matter how many times you take it. Chapter 1 only has 1. Who cares about chapter 1? Nobody. Who cares about chapter 15, 19? Nobody. They only have 1. You should be concentrating on 6 chapters and then the rest, of course, but chapters, and it's right here. It's not for me to write it down because it's right here. It tells you 11, 12, and 13 have 25 points. So 11, 12, 13, 5, 8, and 16. Those 6 chapters are 53% of the test. And furthermore, there's a list of every single thing they're going to ask you.
5,
right
8,
there.
and 16, you said?
It's 11, 12, 13, 5, 8, and 16. But you see, you wouldn't even need to write it down because it's right here. Here's chapter 5, 12 points. Who cares about this chapter 6? Ugh, 2 points. Who cares? Chapter 7 is 4 points. Chapter 10 is 5 points. Oh my gosh, here it is. Contracts, 12 points, chapter 11.
So Michelle,
Yeah.
if I'm understanding you correctly, I could get this off of the Florida State, the candidate book is on the Florida State.
Yeah, just Google it. Look, all you have to do, it's so awesome. Watch.
And so if I'm understanding you correctly, because I'm studying to take the state exam, I've already done my 63 hours. If I just go off of that and go back into my book from my 63 hours, I should be able to relearn or just inform myself so that basically study and get all this stuff that I need and just go off of that without having to actually go take another school class somewhere.
Oh my gosh, do not take another school class. Let me show you the reason that I'm doing this
Save me some money, honey.
Right? The reason that I'm doing this presentation today, first off, is because if you haven't already figured it out, I'm obsessed with the state exam. The first time I helped someone pass it and they passed, I like cried for 2 days. I couldn't believe that I was a part of someone starting a new career. Like it was like a drug. I immediately quit and started getting my instructor's license, and I haven't looked back. The school's almost 4 years old now. But the other reason that I'm doing this is to promote my cram course. If you want to see every question on the state exam, I have a $49 cram course. And the thing is, $49 is about what it costs to take the test. Let me show you what the cram course
mine.
looks
It's
like.
awesome.
Well, it's even better now because by Friday, I'll have 100 more videos on there. I'm so excited about it. But let me show you what the cram course looks like. So if you go to Magnolia School of Real Estate, go ahead.
Larry, is it guaranteed that when I buy that, I will pass the exam with everything on that?
Absolutely not. That's illegal to guarantee it.
Ain't
But I
nothing
love where your
guaranteed.
head's at. But I will tell you this. Here's what's crazy, you guys. I hear people, I mean, it feels like 100 people a week. I hear people call me at the school, call me at my home. You know, and this is what they say. I'm willing to do anything it takes to pass the state exam. I say, well, did you read the book? No. Did you take the online cram course? Well, it's $49. Okay, you can't do those two things. Please at least tell me that, you know, you used your candidate information booklet as a checklist. No. If you're truly willing to do everything it takes to pass this test, to have the most amazing career with no income potential cap, no cap on the income potential, read the textbook. Oh my gosh, if you can't afford $49, first off, if you can't afford $49, you should probably just log off right now because it costs a lot of money to start a business. $49, if you don't have it, you're not.
Even if it's
not
$100,
quite
it's
ready.
good.
That's right. Real estate ain't cheap.
But no, it's not. So let me show you what the cram course looks like, and then I'm going to go through the book and show you stuff. So first off, I've already put it on this computer. This is the cram course. This is brand new. It's audio. It's only $19, and it's me talking about every single chapter and quizzing you, and then it has a 100-question quiz at the end. So it's pretty awesome. It's about 7 hours. People said, I want to listen to it while I do my dishes or while I drive or exercise. I don't do exercising, but some people do. But let me show you what this cram course looks like. So here's the 50 most asked questions. And every one of these questions, in my opinion, basically you're going to have between 35 and 45 of these. Most people have closer to 45. So for example, which of the following describes leverage? Not a chance on this planet are you not having a question on leverage. 100% you're having leverage. It's on every test. Once you pick an answer, that's not the answer, but let's just say it. Then there's a video explaining, and it's not going to come up now because I have too many apps open. There's a video right here. There it is, explaining leverage. And there's 50 of those.
Where is this again? I'm sorry.
This is my online cram course at magnoliaschoolofrealestate.com.
Okay.
Now, is this your $49 course? Or
This is the
other one?
$49 course. Yes.
Okay.
And the reason, again, that it is so inexpensive is because even though I have a business and I want to make money, my ultimate goal is to help you pass the state exam. You know those people, listen to this last thing, and then we're going to get back into this material. You know those people on YouTube that are like, oh, here's 60 questions on the state exam. Here's 20 questions. I watch those all the time and I get so aggravated because none of that stuff is on the state exam. And the reason it is that you're seeing it is because when they start their YouTube channel in California for the California state exam or the national state exam, which has nothing to do with Florida, when they start their YouTube video, they click a button that says, yes, show it to every state in America, because now they make a fortune. When I did my YouTube video, I clicked only Florida. Because this test will not help anyone else. Those tests will not help you. I wish I could call people out and tell you who it is because it's just pisses me off. They don't care. They don't care if they take your money.
I have a question, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I purchased your cram course. Is there anywhere that I can print the 50 most asked questions?
Yeah. Right here, look. So it says, here's the welcome video. There's the candidate information booklet, but here's what you want, a link for more tests. This link right here is going to take you to all 850 questions. So that link right there, even if you just took a snapshot of it, you can have it for free. But honestly, you're not going to get the videos and all that. And let me show you something else. See this practice exam, this first practice exam right here? This practice exam is so amazing. This is the one that took almost 5 years to put together. And I just updated it like 2 days ago. So this practice exam alone, oh my gosh, it's so good. But anyway, I don't want to push my product on you, this whole thing.
Michelle, is your typed up checklist available to us?
Yes.
Yes,
I can
that's
put it
what I
somewhere.
would like as well.
I know, man, that checklist is gold. I did one for my instructor's exam and I was like obsessed. I was like carrying that checklist around from.
Can you send it to us?
Yeah, you know what? I'll send you a whole bunch of stuff today. Okay.
Did you say that you're updating the cram course this Friday?
So
with extra 100 questions?
Yep. So I update it constantly. That 100 question test was just updated this weekend because I just had a class that ended and so many people have taken their state exam and they call me and they're like, hey, I had this. Can you help me? You know, I should have put this or I put this. I don't mean to find out what's on the state exam, but they tell me. So I include it on the test. So it's always updated by this Friday. That 100 question test that I showed you, I'm going to make 100 videos and explain every single question. I blocked off my entire week to do it. Right now, there's only.
I'm going to go to purchase it right now. I might have a few questions while I'm doing that.
No, it's easy.
Michelle.
Let me show it to you, and then I'm going to go through this book. So you
Michelle,
just
as you update it, if you bought it, like say she's buying
it
today.
updates. It updates in real time.
Okay, so as you go updating it, the person already bought it, they still get the updates anyways. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
definitely. One lady was in the middle of a practice test when it updated and she was like, this is a different question. Because keeping on the front end of what's on the state exam, oh my gosh. But anyway, all you have to do is go to magnoliaschoolofrealestate.com. Once you get there, it's the very first thing right here. It says study for online state exam cram.
It actually, you know what? It actually came through on your email. I saw it this afternoon when I was looking at the email you gave me and I was clicking on stuff. It just popped up and I said, oh, she's got a cram. I'll see how she does.
Oh, really?
If I figured I found it and I thought, oh, okay. I thought I'm going to see how she does because it's my first time. And if she's a good teacher and I could relate with her, then I'll think about the class.
Right.
Michelle,
No, that makes sense.
Michelle, wondering, sorry to interrupt. Is there, you probably going to tell me no to this question, but do you have a live state exam cram course?
Not live, because this
Okay.
one has so many good questions. You can print everything. There's videos. I actually don't do it live anymore because everybody started purchasing the online and it took
Okay.
over. It's
All
so
right.
good. I love it. I'm so proud of it. But let's just go through some
Michelle?
of these. Yeah.
Sorry, can we save the online videos for later use?
Like
The
for
ones
the
we
50 most
purchased?
asked questions?
The ones we purchased, yes.
Oh, yeah, because so the way it works is when you first open it up and you start the 50 most asked questions, which if you've already taken the test, you are going to want to kick your own butt because you're going to be like, I had it. So now you can see the answers. I don't know why I'm yelling. Hold on. It's weird when you're in a room by yourself. I feel like, I don't know if I'm talking loud or now I realize I'm yelling. When you click on the first question and it says blah, 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 and you pick an answer, there's the video there. So when the video is there, you watch it. And then when you get to the end of the 50, you can just start it over and ask again, watch the video again. There is no expiration date and there is no amount of times that you can take it. All of that is unlimited. Again, I have the same goal you have. So I didn't put any expiration dates on anything. So for $49, you can watch that thing, all day, every day. People are telling me, and this is what's crazy. You know how you hate your own voice? People are telling me that they go to bed listening to the audio and they wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I hate that I've done that to you. Okay.
Michelle,
I
have a
question,
Michelle. I bought your class and I finished it and I loved it, but I'm still not confident yet. I probably overdoing it, but whatever. When you're talking about those 850 questions, are those the ones where you have all the matching at the end of every chapter?
No,
because I can't find the tab with the 850 questions. I don't
So
think.
it's not at the very top of the course, it's a link, and that link takes you, because what it is so it's 3 practice tests plus 5 practice tests. The 3 practice tests that are on there are the ones on the cram course, except for the one I just updated. The first state exam is amazing. It's updated. but basically they kind of go together. So you could take the entire cram course and then you would go to that link. It's at the very top under the welcome video. And it's just a hyperlink. You can click it, but that's going to take you to 5 additional tests. But what I'm going to tell you is those
Maybe because I took like 3, seems like I took 3 or all the tests that were on the left-hand side. And the last thing I did was go over all those matching were terrific. So I went through all the matching and all those questions of all the chapters. So that's where I am. So what is next on the course?
Next, so that's at tab 3. So that's the end of it. So that means that you did the 50 most asked. That means you did the 25 important questions. Basically, you're going to see all those. You did the 10 most asked math. You took all 3 practice tests, and then you took the 500 or 300 or whatever questions plus matching. Now at the very top of the course, there's a link that's 5 more tests that are 100 questions each. But what I'm going to tell you is those tests are great because it's, a practice test is great. Practice tests are great. But what's the most important thing is to sit down when there's nobody else around, pull your candidate information booklet out, and it's going to say brokerage offices. And then you would have to know, here's the things, because I was going to quiz you a minute ago, brokerage offices. It's going to ask you this on the state exam. Which brokerage offices must have a sign? Is it seasonal offices, beach offices, or all offices must have a brokerage sign?
All offices.
All offices. Next question. What's on the sign? And you have to memorize it. And the answer is trade name if one is used. So that's Coldwell Banker. The broker's name, Michelle Early, and the words licensed real estate broker. So you need to make a flashcard that says that because they're going to make you think the word realtor has to be there or the address.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to look for that tab, and then how do you get the updates? Are those emails?
No, as long as and so I didn't think you had to log out and log back in, but one person said she did. But everyone else, it just came automatic. So if you want to just log out and log back in, it'll update it if it hasn't already, but probably it has because it was updating in real time.
Okay, if I'm having trouble finding those questions or getting the updates, do I just call you?
Oh yeah, call the school. It's gonna be Karina or Jeannie, and they're so sweet. They can help you and they know all this. So definitely call the school.
Because that's my next step. I want to take those, I want to do everything that you've got on that thing, all those questions. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to give it a shot on the test.
Yeah, go back to that first practice exam. It's updated. It's amazing. I mean, I got so much feedback from this last class, plus this like 7 or 8 people emailed me and said, hey, can you help me with these questions from the state exam? And I'm like, oh,
that's the one on the left-hand side, right? Not the tab on the right, on the top. You're talking about the practice on.
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait 1 second. I'll show you where it is. And then we will look at this. I'll show you.
Yeah, maybe you could put the welcome screen up for the class.
Whoops, wrong one. Hold on.
And then I'm also, I'd love to get your typed copy of that checklist.
Yeah, I'll email that tonight to everybody. I'll email that.
That way I don't have to retype it. That's really a helpful thing. I don't know why taking it off makes me feel better, but I got the candidate booklet and it's just, it's better if I can check it off. I like that better. There you go. Okay, so I've done everything on the left side.
So here's the welcome. There's the 50 most asked questions, but under this welcome, read this before going on. Very important. This is the link for more tests right here. But again, those are great, those extra 5, but here's where the money is. These 50 most asked, these 25, and this one and this one. That is where you're gonna be like, this one right here, this thing right here, I just updated it. And actually, let me show this to you. So I made it.
Maybe I should do it again since you've updated.
Yeah.
Because I've already done all those things. So maybe I'll go back and redo them.
I would, because look at this. Let me show you something crazy, you guys. And this is not wasting your time right now. You're going to see this. Read this question, read number 1, and then I'm going to tell you something. Read all of that.
Oh, I'm not sure. D.
So I think the answer is D. I don't know if it's right, but that's
that's
me.
So when hopefully you've had time, but the answer is D, but listen to this. This is why this test is so amazing. And just why this test for the state exam is just so hard. This past probably 3 weeks, I've talked to, I can't tell you, hundreds of people and thousands of emails. It's amazing what's happened, and YouTube blew up my business, but people are telling me stuff and I'm saying, wait a second, you had what question? Because for 5 years, I'm telling you right now, I would have bet you my right arm. When you get a question on water rights, this is it. Which of the following are the rights to water flowing through your property? Okay, boom, riparian rights, 100%. I didn't even ever tell anyone anything else. Now in the last month or two, I say, wait, you had what question? Look at this. This is crazy. Riparian rights are held in common with other riparian owners, and they may use it for fishing or boating, but they may not alter the flow of water or contaminate the water. I'll give you $1,000 if you don't have that question on your state exam. That's not really true. I take it back. But I'm just telling you that they never asked that before. And yes, it's true. You own the rights to the water touching your land or abutting your land. And if it's flowing water, it's called riparian rights. Okay, that's all they used to ask, but not anymore. They've made this test so hard, and it was already hard, because now they want to know, even though you own the rights to the water, can you pollute it or contaminate it? No. Okay, but when someone told me that, I said, are you kidding me? You had that? And then 5 and 10 and 20 more people told me. So that's why this test is so good, because it's just updated. It's just updated. The stuff that's on here. Let me show you that one. You're going to see that one. Oh, I just thought that everybody knew this, and the way that they're asking it is so complicated. Look at that one.
These questions are updated on the CRAM course?
Yeah, this is the CRAM course that you're looking at now, and it updates, it's updated in real time.
Oh, thank you.
Are you serious? They're asking these questions on that.
Oh yeah, and let me go ahead and just tell you, see number 5, 100% on your state exam. Number 6, 100% on your state exam. So this is just, oh my gosh, that one's almost 100%.
Are they trying to follow along with other states? Maybe they're trying to get more, because I took my real estate license years ago in California, and I know they were really, it was a hard one.
No, you know what they're doing? I'm going to tell you what they're doing. Hold on, let me get back to stop share. Let me tell you what they're doing. So when the test or when the economy does what the economy is doing, and real estate agents are making what they're making right now, every single person says, oh my gosh, well, I'm going to get into real estate. So 2 years ago, actually, let's go 3 years ago. 3 years ago, about 2,000 people took the test a month. So a lot, 2,000. Almost 5,000 are taking it a month now.
Yeah.
They cannot have 5,000 real estate agents a month. The economy would just collapse.
They'll flood the market. Yep.
It would flood the market. And so what they do is they keep the pass rate to what amount of people they want to pass it. And if you're doubling how many people are taking it and you want less people to pass it, mathematically, one guy took it from the class that just passed, that just finished on Tuesday, and he passed it. And he told me that when he came out, the guy said, oh, this was the in-person class with Magnolia. The guy said to him, he said, oh, wow. He said, how many times have you taken this test? And he said, 1 time. I've taken it today was my first time. And the guy said, no, it was not your first time. And he said, yes, it's my first time. The guy told him that he's used to seeing 25% of people pass. 1 out of 4. Now the numbers are really 46%, but that just shows you this test ain't no joke. Okay, so let me go through the book and show you. We're going to start with chapter 4. And I'll show you, just in my experience, questions that I know they're going to ask you. So I'll quiz you. And this is kind of what it sounds like if you took the audio, except for it's more information, not just quizzing. Okay, so the first thing, and I'm not going to get too deep here. We're going to pick up as many quick, easy points as possible. The first thing that you're 100% going to see on the state exam is about the fact that licensees must disclose all known facts that affect the value of residential real property that are not readily observable by the buyer. So you're going to see a question that says the roof leaks. What do you have to do? And the answer is what? Disclose it. disclose it. If you know the roof leaks, you disclose it. And they're going to say, oh, but you're a single agent. I don't care. It's an as-is contract. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. The seller told me not to. I don't care. We love golden rules. If you have something that you discover that's not readily observable by the buyer, and it's a material defect like a leaking roof or a chipped tile, you must disclose it. Next question they're going to ask you, which offers do you submit? And the answer is
All offers.
All offers.
they're going to say, but one offer was this and one offer was, and it's going to be this long story. So, oh my God, just give me the one that says submit all offers. That's the answer. The next thing they're going to ask you from chapter 4 is going to be, what is the presumed relationship in Florida?
What?
And the answer is a transaction broker is the presumed relationship.
Oh, it's not
Florida.
allowed.
The presumed relationship is a transaction broker. And then they're going to ask you, when do you show the no brokerage disclosure? When do you show the no
Before
brokerage
showing a property.
before
When
showing
you're,
property?
right.
Yep, before showing property. So that right there, now you're going to want to read the whole chapter because that's not all 7 points that you can pick up, but that's about 4 or 5 of them. You're going to see those. What I want to show you is some books don't have it in chapter 1. They only have it in chapter 16, but we can pick up 4 real easy points here. And all of these that I'm showing you right now, these all have videos on the CREM course, but what I want to show you right now is some stuff that you might think that you know, and then they pick up points from you. And maybe you already know because you've been studying, so that's good. But let me ask you guys a question. There's like 78 people left. Can you, as sales associates, can you legally do an appraisal?
Yes.
As long as it's not fairly.
Good job.
Yes.
Good job. So the answer is yes, you can, because an appraisal is a service of real estate. So of course you can do an appraisal. So you would say, just like that man said, you can do it as long as the money's not federally related. And that means that a loan is involved. So if somebody said, I'm getting an FHA loan, can you do the appraisal? No.
No.
But if it's a cash sale, yes. And you can even charge a fee for it. But the money goes to the broker and then goes through you, as all money does. So the next
On your
thing.
website.
So
Sorry,
the
I'm on your website. I'm on your website. Can I click study for your state exam?
Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
That's the CREM course. And so the next thing they're going to ask you is, if you do an appraisal, because you are allowed to, you can't just do it however you want. You have to follow appraisal rules. And what are those called?
The US SAP.
The USPAP, exactly. And here's what most people are going to see. Probably more than 50% of you are going to see this question. What does the USPAP stand for?
Uniform
Standard.
That, yeah, uniform standards of professional appraisal practice. So I would make a flashcard that says, what does USPAP stand for? Uniform standards of professional appraisal practice. The next thing they're going to ask you is, it's going to say this: which of the following is a written opinion of value? And that's a BPO, a BPO,
a broker's price opinion.
Broker's price opinion.
A broker's price opinion. And you'll see all of these if you decide to look into the CREM course. You'll see all of these because these are just the 50. This is it. I'm telling you questions. I'm telling you, you're definitely going to see it. If you've already taken your test, you say, yep.
I love the CREM course. Thank you, Michelle. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, good.
I'm taking my exam tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay, start with the 50 most, then do the 25, and then do the and then do that first practice test, because that first practice
Again?
test,
Okay, I'll do it again.
if your test is tomorrow, and read as much material as you can.
So the
Okay.
25 and the 100 and the 50?
All the stuff at the beginning, all the stuff at the beginning. What you don't want to do is concentrate on too much math when you really should be concentrating on those 6 chapters that have 53% of the points. Okay, so chapter 2, here's 3 questions you're going to see from chapter 2. Here's 3 questions that everybody sees. What is the status of your license if you don't do your 45-hour post-license course?
Null
and void. Null and void.
Null and void.
Null and void. What is the status of your license if you don't do the required 14 hours?
Invalid.
Voluntary inactive.
Involuntary inactive. And listen to this. If your license is inactive, not involuntary inactive, but just inactive, meaning it's not hung at a broker, Do you still have to do continuing education?
Yes.
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 Yes. Good job. Good job. What is the status?
So my question regarding that is, I don't feel like I'm very, very much ready to continue in this career right now. I was, but something's changed in my family. So if I take the exam and I pass it, but I don't get my license with the brokerage, what do I do? What happens?
That's a great question. When I got my sales associate exam, I didn't have a passion for real estate. I had a passion for teaching adults, but it didn't pay very well. So that's why it parlayed into being an instructor and then starting a school. So the reason I tell you that is because for 4 years, my license was inactive. You simply just don't hang it. My status was current inactive. I recently just hung it because I'm gonna buy a house, and you make a commission when you buy a house. So, because I'm representing myself. So for 4 years, my license status was current inactive. The reason it was current is because I did my 45 hours, and then I did my 14 hours, and then I did my 14 hours. Actually, I don't think I've done those yet. Those are coming up.
So as long as I continue to take those required classes, it's still going to be active whether or not I hang it.
Exactly. So you have 2 statuses at all time. Current, active means that you're up to date with your education, and your license is hung with a broker or an owner developer, which means a builder, or current, inactive, which means you're good to go. You just can't sell real estate right now because you don't have it hung with a broker or owner developer. And it can stay that way indefinitely because it's not involuntary inactive. It's just inactive.
Okay, thank you.
Involuntary inactive means you didn't do your 14 hours.
Okay.
Okay, listen to this question.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. What is the status of your license if your broker dies, resigns, or is otherwise removed from the position?
Involuntary inactive.
Involuntary inactive. So remember that the answer is 2 times involuntary inactive and 1 time null and void. Chapter 3, they're going to ask you this. If you go to your broker's office and you steal original listing contracts, so they're originals with signatures, what are you going to be charged with?
Larceny.
Larceny. Oh, you good group. What about if you take duplicates or copies?
Breach of
Breach
trust.
of contract.
Breach of trust. Good job.
Trust.
Breach of trust. Okay, chapter 5. They're gonna ask you. There's a lot. Chapter 5. I mean, it's 12 points, so it's a lot. They're gonna ask you. I'm just gonna tell you the topics because this is the 100% stuff. Okay. They're going to ask you about blind ads or advertisements. A blind ad is something that simply does not tell you where the person works. So if you saw an ad, Michelle Early, best sales associate in town, Keller Williams. That's not a blind ad. She works at Keller Williams. But if you saw an ad that said, Michelle Early, call me, best sales associate in town, that's a blind ad and they're a violation. So you're going to see blind ad. You're going to see escrow. When does it have to be deposited? Immediately. How is that defined? By the end of the 3rd business day.
By the end of the 3rd business day.
You're going to see a question, again, all of these are on the crime course, but you're going to see a question that wants to know, can a broker simply take money from a non-interest bearing account, escrow, and move it into an interest bearing account? And the answer is yes, as long as the buyer and the seller both agree in writing. So make sure it says buyer and seller. You're going to have probably 2 questions on commingling. That's mixing of funds. You're going to have a question on what goes on the purchase and sales contract regarding the title company. It's name, address, phone number. Name, address, phone number. You're going to have a question on conflicting demands with escrow. You're going to have a question on a rental list, antitrust laws, and kickbacks. So one quick tip, not all kickbacks are illegal. If you see a question that says a title company, a lender, or an appraiser gave someone something, that's an illegal kickback. But if it's a contractor, that's not an illegal kickback. It's legal. Chapter 7, you're going to need to know your tenant deposits, the 15 days, 30 days. Is there a claim? Is there not a claim? Chapter 9, the difference between the different easements, and we could go on and on and on. So I feel like we kind of did it. It's 3:19. What time did we start? Yeah, so it's a couple of hours. So I think we go ahead and we wrap it up here.
Can you do that Ben question again, Michelle, please?
The bends?
Yeah, that number, cause the second one, the B part, cause it's I'm getting another number. It's the answer is 720, but for some reason I'm not getting it. Please.
Yeah, let's do that for sure. And then everybody else, if you don't want to stay on, this is probably the last thing that we'll do. But I do encourage you, because obviously I want to increase revenue for my company, to purchase the cram course. But also because if you don't know what's on it and you say, am I ready? Am I not ready? And then you have to take it twice. Well, the cram course paid for itself because it's only $49. And then the audio is just for you to listen to. So I'm going to go ahead and do this last one. We'll do it together. And then we will probably close up shop. Are there any questions before I do this math question? Any other things that we would like
Can
to?
Yes, I have a question. I wanted to say I've participated in a few of your Zoom meetings before I purchased your cram course and your audio.
Say that again.
I purchased your cram course and your audio, and I've understood so much. And I'm retaking my test this Wednesday.
Yay.
And I feel very confident with everything because your stuff goes into so much detail on it, and it comes up with ways on how to remember certain things like credit buyer, vendor deposit, and all that.
Oh, you sound so ready. Yay, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for supporting the school. Bye-bye.
I have a question. I have a question.
I successfully purchased
Is it unit
the cram course.
Start again.
I just successfully purchased the cram course.
Oh, great. Enjoy.
Is it unit
A lot of
16?
studying.
Is
What were
it
you
unit
gonna say,
16
sir?
math really on the state exam?
Say it one more time.
Is it unit 16 math on the state exam?
No, absolutely not. Let me tell you what you're going to see from
good.
16. I'm going to still do that Ben's question, but let me show you what you're going to see on 16. And actually, if you go into the cram course in tab 3 and look at chapter 16, those are really, really good questions. And also there's a really good chart on tab 3, which is on the cram course about freehold and non-freehold, all that life estate. You're going to have 4 of those. So let me show you what you're going to have on 16. On 16, these are the questions. I'm just going to throw them at you quickly. Can you do appraisals? Yes. Can you call yourself an appraiser? No. Do you have to follow USPAC? Yes. What does it stand for? Blah, blah, blah. Can you call a CMA an appraisal? No. Can you call a BPO an appraisal? No. Can you as sales associates do BPOs? Yes, you can. The bank can't pay you directly. Only the broker can pay you.
Broker.
And then what? And then you're going to have a question on functional obsolescence or external obsolescence. So functional obsolescence means something's not functional. It's a 1-bathroom house. It's a bad pitch of the architect of the roof. Or it's what's the third one? A bad floor plan. Functional obsolescence. External obsolescence, you're going to see a question that says, which of these is external obsolescence? Well, external obsolescence is when an appraiser deducts value based on something outside the boundary of your property. It's bad and it can't be fixed. So that means it's going to be a highway or your road turned into a thoroughfare is what they're going to say. And then you're going to have something on cap rate, which that is all updated, the cap rate stuff, because some people are getting 2 of those now. It's crazy. So that's definitely in the cram course, the cap rate. But 4 questions of your 8 from chapter 16 are going to be, can you do appraisals? Can you call yourself an appraiser? CMA, BPO, all that stuff.
When did you have to make those updates?
It's updated. It's all updated.
No, I was saying like what date was it?
Oh,
Was it, like,
Saturday.
Oh, because I recently brought your cram course. That's why I asked.
Yeah, that test was updated Saturday from all that feedback that I just got. I update them all the time, but this one was kind of a big update because I've just had so many conversations. I don't mean to know what's on it. I really don't, but people tell me. Yes.
Okay, I took the test like twice already and I didn't pass. But don't you have like a certain amount of time after you took
2 years.
63-hour? Okay. And the fingerprints is like a year, right?
So once you submit your fingerprints and your application, whatever day you hit submit to your application, that's 2 years. Actually, technically by the day that they approve it, but let's just say that's 2 years. And then your course completion certificate is also 2 years. So you can take that test, 20 times a month until 2 years is up. So you just keep getting back in there. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to
So
say
does that
her-
mean?
Go ahead.
Does that mean you have to take, if you don't pass it within those 2 years, so you have to like take the course again or something?
You have to retake the course and fingerprints and application because they have two separate things. 2 years
Okay.
for the course completion, 2 years for the application and fingerprints. So, but you have plenty of time. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, now
What
that
I'm
I
gonna-
found you, I believe I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, you are. And you know, this is what I want to, well, this is what I want to tell you guys. This is so important. Listen to this. And a bunch of people left because we said we were done. I'm still talking. But listen, I'm obsessed with it. This training center that I'm in right now, where I hold classes for the pre-licensed class, there's a lady that I know, and I see her all the time, and she works right here in the same city, and she took the test 3 times. Now this was like 8 years ago, you know, before I started the school, but she took the test 3 times. She is a millionaire. She's a millionaire, and I mean many times over. Because you think she cares she took it 3 times? People that go and take it once and they can't get up that nerve to go back, well, you know what? This career isn't for you, because this career is just, it's all about hustle. If you have that thing inside you that says, oh, really? I failed it. Watch this. Oh my gosh, this is the career for you. So if you failed it once or twice or 10 times, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you keep going back. That's what matters, because that's what happens in this career. Somebody tells you no, well, then you ask them again, they might say yes. So just keep that in mind. This test does not define you. How you handle taking it, if you have to take it more than once, is what defines you. And she's living proof of that. I wish I could say her name so bad. I just saw her a little while ago this morning, and she's a millionaire, and she's taken it, you know, 3 times. So what's that? How do you do that? Raise hand. Somebody's hand's raised. Cool. Can I click it? I know it just happened there. Okay, I think we're all done. Let me do this fans question. I may have just stopped it. I don't know. I just hit some button. Let me do this. Which one did you say? 720. Okay. A building, maybe I have it wrong. Let's look. A building is 4 stories high. So we still have the same 4 stories.
4-story.
And each story is 100 by 50. So each story is still going to be 5,000 square feet. So you have 5, 10, 15, 20,000 square feet total. And it says that we can't use 10% of each floor.
Yeah.
So how much is 10%? Is it 500?
Yes, it's 500.
I
It's
just made
500, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 500.
Oh, you know what? I don't remember doing 500.
No, you did a different one earlier.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
no,
I
you
don't do
did.
that. I mean, when I was working it out, I may have this one wrong. So you may be doing it right and I might be doing it wrong. So let's do it, because I've never done this one. I was just trying to make you guys some of these. Okay, 5,000.
You know the one that probably
Can't use 10% of each. Yeah, I think I have this wrong. Let's look. Can't use.
It was
10%
20%. You
floor.
had 5,000 times 20%.
2,000. So you can't use 2,000, right?
right.
Oh, I think I have this. I'm certain I have this wrong.
It's the same, but it's a different question, but different numbers, but it's almost the same.
What number y'all looking at?
Under Ben B.
B.
Here, let me work it out without talking for a second.
Please,
Because I think I have it
Yeah.
wrong. Building is 4 stories high, 1, 2, 3, 4. And each floor is 100 by 50, so 5,000 square. I can't use 10% of each floor.
10%.
Yeah, I've never used 10% before, so 5 and 5 is 1,000, 2,000, 18,000. I'm glad you caught it, divided by 25. So this is not right. My question, I don't have it right.
You have,
What's-
because you
what's
have
the question?
divide, you
What's
have
the question
times
be?
10%, it should be times 20%.
So put 10% in the put 20% in the place of 10%.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Oh, it is still coming out.
Yeah, it still comes out. It still comes out. You're
I don't
making
remember
another
making this
question.
question.
I know, but you're making another question with a 10% instead of anything else. It still works out. It's just, you're using a different percentage. Instead of 20, you're using 10.
Yeah, I was just trying to make some of these this morning. It's just funny
But it
because
worked out.
You know, the one that might benefit everyone else, Michelle, before you close up your day, is the one on the lot. If you go down to number C, that might get a little tricky for people.
under lots.
Yeah, under lots, number C.
Okay. Yeah,
That
let's
might
look
be
at that
one
one
that,
next.
because you're gonna work it backwards now, you know?
No, you won't have to do that. At the end, you just divide it by the, you just divide it by 20 instead of the other. I'll show you, but let me just do this one again because it's gonna drive me crazy. Don't talk for just
Yes,
one quick
please.
second. Let me-
Which question is that?
Stop talking.
Hold on one quick second. Let me just, this is like driving me crazy because I feel like it's something's wrong. So you have 4 stories. Each one is 5,000 square feet. Which one am I on? B, okay. I'm gonna put, I can't use 10% of each. So I think this is what I did when I was working it out. 520 is I took 20,000 times 0.9 and then divided that by 25. Okay, so it is right. Okay, I don't remember making that one. Weird. Okay, so that one is right. It's just weird. Okay.
So how did you do it?
Oh, sorry. So I took, let me show you how I did it.
Thank you.
I took the 100 by 50 and there's 4 of those. So that means there's 20,000 square feet total,
Yes.
but you can't use 10% of each floor. So what I did was I just times this by 90.9 or 90% because I couldn't use 10%. But how I showed you earlier, I just found out what 10% of each floor is, which is $500 or $500. I got money on the brain. 500 real estate, 500 square feet. So if you cannot use 500 square feet in each floor,
2,000.
5, 10, 15, 20, you cannot use 2,000 exactly. So you got to get it out of there. Can't use it. You can only use 18,000 square feet to put these bins in. And then you see how big is each bin? 25 square feet. So this is how I do it. I find out how big each floor is, and then I multiply it by however many floors they have. Once I find out how much space I have, I figure out how much of it I can actually use because I cannot use 10% of each floor. So I get that out.
10 times 4.
Whatever's left is what I divide it by.
So do we?
What is this called again?
The bins. I just call it the bins. You can't find it in any book, but half of you will see it.
Do we keep the question the same? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, the question.
Right.
The question's right. Because we don't know how many stories they're going to give us. We don't know how big each bin is going to be. We don't know how big each floor is going to be, and we don't know how much of it you can use. That's why I tried to change the number.
What was the complaint that the first time you did it,
the first time I did it, I just didn't remember ever using 10% of each floor, so I figured I must have done it wrong. But I did, and I did it right. I did it quick when I was doing it this morning.
Yeah.
It's good. It's right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then really quickly, let's look at this last one. I'm on lots C. So if you have it in front of you, I'm on lots C. This one's, so here's how I show you. I'll show you how I just do it if I was just doing it by myself. I take the 10 acres and I turn it into square feet. So that's going to be 4, 3, 5, 600. That's how many square feet are in 10 acres. And then it tells me that I cannot use 15%. So I times it by the 85% I can use. So I take 4, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, and I times that by 0.85 because that's how much of this space I can actually use to develop lots. 3, 6, 9, 7, 50. And now it says to me, I'm going to put 20 lots in there. How big is each lot? How can I figure out how many 20s will go in here? So I divide it by 20. That's going to give you how big each lot will be. 18,513.
So it looks like math is a lot of multiplication and division and some fraction.
Yeah, and really it's memorizing formulas. That's why I put so many of these on here. I mean, there's like 5 commission questions in here, 3 bins, 3 lots, 3 discount points. And it's not worked out, but it does have the, the answers so that you can really sit down. Because the funny part is if you were to do 10 of these, you wouldn't even think about it anymore. You would turn the acres into square feet. You'd figure out how much of it you could use and you'd divide in whatever number was left.
Right. And you're going to send this to us tonight because I'm going to have to let my brain decompress and then start again tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. So I'm going to see how this recorded because normally I pop it I've only done it twice. I popped it on YouTube. I'm definitely not going to put this on YouTube, but I will get a link for it, however that works. And then I'm going to email that. And then I'll also email the checklist for the candidate information booklet. I don't really have that on a nice clean document, so I'll have to tinker with it a little bit.
Can you
If that
also
doesn't
email the
come,
cram- Can you
what's
put a
that?
link for the, can you put a link for the cram course also? Because a lot of people probably don't even have the cram course.
Yeah.
All three
So-
will be in the same email.
Yes, absolutely. And if you, it's just to show you right here, it's the Magnolia School of Real Estate.com is the link for the cram course. It's Magnolia School of Real Estate.com. Call the school if you have questions. You can get it right there on the website. It's 941. Here, let me put it up here. Karina's in there now, but it's 941-201-9762. So that's the school. And definitely, you know, if you want to take that cram course. But I think, yeah, so I'll send some emails tonight. I'll try to put it, if I don't put the candidate information booklet, it's because it's on a weird PDF and sometimes I can't.
People could just download it and. if they
Yeah,
have
I mean, you can
PDF on
download
their
it and just put a
computers
check
and-
beside it if it doesn't, if you don't see it. Or even typing it out yourself. I mean, spend that time and really, you know, use that.
Just download it on a PDF and then convert it over how you want it.
Yeah, the candidate
You talking
information
about
booklet.
that candidate? Oh, I printed that already from the website.
Yeah, it's amazing. The candidate information booklet. That is all the money in the world.
I'm printing out.
Thank you.
I'm printing out the mega, it says, hold on, please. Oh, shoot. The mega state exams.
Yep, so
I'm
the
printing
mega,
it out.
the mega state exam is so good. The one that's on the, so what you're at that link from the cram course, but the practice state exam 1, that is the mega exam updated. So the mega is great, but the one that's on the state exam, that's on the cram course, that's under that says practice state exam 1, that one is even better because it's the mega updated.
Okay, because this one that I'm printing out is a lot of them, but there is no highlights. The answers to the questions are not highlighted at all.
No, there's an answer key at the end.
Sorry?
There's an answer key at the end. Everything you have for me has answer keys. Yeah, you can't study without answer keys.
Okay. Thank you.
Everything is there. So all
Michelle,
right, you
thank
guys.
you.
Good
Thank you.
luck.
Awesome.
Good luck.
Thank you, Michelle.
Oh my.
You gave us a lot of
Thank
information.
Yeah,
Thank
there's a lot.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
My pleasure. Bye, you guys. Oh, my pleasure. Good luck.
Thank
Good
you,
luck. Good luck.
Michelle.
Bye, guys. Good luck to you.
I
It's
have
so
a quick
exciting.
question.
Oh, quick question. Okay.
So I'm a little confused on how many times you can take the final exam. Is it twice
The
before you
state
have to
exam or
repeat
the course exam?
The course.
The course exam is twice, and then you have to retake the course. So if you fail the course final, you have to wait 30 days, and then you can take the course final again. If you fail it, you have to retake the course.
Okay, and then for the state?
You can take that one as many times as you can take it in 2 years.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was a little confused because I got confused between the state and the course one.
Oh, yeah. Yep, 2 totally different. So the state, you can take it 2 years as many times as you want. The course final only twice before you have to retake the course.
Okay. And then the course, is it the one that you have to go to a certain location to do, or is that the state one?
That's the state. The course you can take if you take it in person, then you would take it in person at whatever school you went to. If you took it online, then you would take it online. But the state exam, that one you can take in person or at the testing center as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for clarifying.
My pleasure. Good luck, you guys. It was nice spending the day with you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.